You ever heard this before?
I don't think so.
It's only the best love song of all time.
Is it?
Yes. And he just died.
Oh, may he rest in peace.
Rick Derringer.
Oh, all right. I say I didn't know this song.
Better believe it. Crank it again.
Mr. Hoochie Coo.
I'm sorry, what?
Mr. Hoochie Coo. That was his big song.
It's
Sing it
coming
for
up.
us.
It's
Yeah.
coming up.
Rock and roll hoochie coo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how many girls that has been my song with and they never knew?
What did he? I saw a really weird obituary that, Rick Derringer, the guy who wrote some song from a movie or TV show, dies. I'm like, that wasn't his biggest song. Why would you focus on that one?
Which song was that?
I can't remember. But it was. He wrote a theme song for a show or a movie, and I can't remember which one it was. And it's one you'd recognize.
Yeah.
But that's not what he's known for.
Yeah, he's more rock and roll hoochie coo.
Yeah, that's the number one.
How does that go? You guys want to do a little
You should
performance?
just play it.
Rock and roll hoochie coo.
One of us is a lead singer of a band, and the rest of us are not.
Go ahead and just play it now.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he just passed away.
Yeah,
right?
We could celebrate that.
Yeah. Gave the world all this kick-ass music.
Oh, he wrote the Hulk Hogan song.
I don't know that one.
That one where he's
The Real American?
Yeah, okay, it's like the dumbest song ever. They're gonna that's what he's known for. No, it's not.
Fight for the righteous man.
All right, here we go. Rock
Okay.
and roll.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess I've heard this one.
Can you
You've heard
believe
it.
Yeah.
the same man wrote that and Don't Ever Say Goodbye?
Man,
It's got range.
that song right there, that is in every movie about the 70s.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the greatest songs of the 70s.
And his name was Rick Derringer.
I know. He had an interesting look
Yeah.
for parts of his career. He changed a lot, didn't he?
Yeah. I just have one visual of him. He sort of looks like the girl that played bass on Happy Days. Leather Tuscanero.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pinky Tuscanero's little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see what you mean there.
Don't Ever Say Goodbye was my song with Pinky Tuscanero.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, man, she was sexy.
Did Pinky know that?
No, none of them did.
No,
Okay.
she thought it was Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo.
Yeah.
She was the one who did think it was that one.
You wonder if any girl ever had a love song with you that you didn't know about?
I don't reckon so.
Yeah.
I don't reckon. What
Don't
do you
spend a lot of my time thinking that because the chances are just so slim.
Yeah, I don't really assume that's the case.
Andrew just rolled in from Deadwood. I don't reckon so.
I don't reckon such. That's why they didn't, because I talk like that. Say a lot of things like that. Women folk don't like it so much.
We have some weird and sad news to give you today. Rachel Zimmerman got boogered.
Dude, I was going to say, we're just not going to talk about my trauma.
Brings
that
us
I
no joy.
experienced Right at the start of the show.
No.
It was real trauma.
Was the
too.
stream live when it happened or
I
no?
don't know. I think it might have been.
Because people might have seen the
They might have seen me sobbing. Yes.
If you saw her looking like she was dancing to Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo,
That was the boog dance.
So I'm reaching behind me to grab this chair, which is a shared chair. Who knows who's sitting in this chair?
I
when
know
I'm
who
not
was sitting in
here.
that chair just
Well,
before.
I know, but I'm not blaming Matt Pajeski.
I am.
I don't think he's the dealer of the booger.
Why would you not? No one else has sat there today. It was like him and Debbie.
Well, it's not Debbie either.
Well,
I don't
there
know
you
who's
go.
in here overnight. I don't know what's
It was
going
long
on.
Lord, would I rather be boogered by Monterey than by Pajeski.
I don't know. Pajeski doesn't seem like he's wiping his boogers on the work equipment.
You're
but
But Debbie does?
No, absolutely not. I go to grab the chair, and my thumb just scrapes against it in a way where it's like, ugh, like that's not a piece of food. That's not a piece of lint. It has the elasticity and the give that only
not
a
a pillow.
booger can have.
Ah,
And I'm like, I just touched a booger.
I know. I know. It's got all of us in a tizzy.
I can't stop laughing.
The whole pre-show
It's so
was
funny.
weird.
Yeah, it was.
Did you ever find your
No,
block?
I feel like I'm missing part of the cord from my laptop. And
I'm also missing something. So something happened. Something has.
Did we-
I was
did
I
we
was
snap
all over
in?
Kevin, but he's actually right. Something has happened.
Did we snap into a new reality?
So
Yeah.
you're telling me we have both a burglar and a boogler?
We have a burglar and a boogler here in this room with
KMOX
us.
has been infested with borrowers who are taking all of our stuff
Yeah.
and wiping their.
But
There was
tails.
because I had a fan. There's a little desk fan that used to be in here.
No, I got it over here.
Oh,
It
okay.
was sitting on the desk, and I said, "Who left their fan in
I
here?"
know I can solve the mystery of the fan. Last week when you were gone, Andrew,
Uh-huh.
Drew Young moved it in here during the Cardinals game because it was extremely
Yeah, it was hot
in
in
here.
here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was very
great.
hot.
Okay, good. And yeah, I left the box fan in there. So, okay, that solves that. Kevin, you're still out of your mind.
Yeah, I know. I could swear I had it when I walked in here, but I'll probably go back into the office and see it fell on the ground or something as I was
The
walking
guy
in.
who pays less attention to anything than anyone I've ever met is like,
This is
I
only
couldn't
gonna-
have forgotten this
That's
thing.
fair.
This
That's
is
fair.
only going to be funny to people who are watching us on television right now. But here's exactly what Kevin looked like. He was just turning back and
I was like,
forth.
what the hell? I
And it's
glitched.
at the exact same time. He's doing this. Rachel's doing this.
And Rach goes, there's a booger.
I gotta say, I feel a little bad for Wheels because all of us have such little faith. Like as soon as he was like, or I just didn't even bring it in here, all three of us were like, yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
probably
probably what it
Let's
is.
be honest, you guys are probably right.
It
I'm gonna
reminded
go out
me-
during the break, and it's going to be laying there.
It reminded me, I'm always telling this to my wife. I'm always getting on her about this. She will be like, I lost my, phone or whatever. And then she'll pick up like one thing next to her and look under it. And then she's like, I've looked everywhere. It can't be. I'm like, you haven't looked at all.
You looked under one pillow.
Yeah, you looked under one pillow. There's 7,000 other places to look in this house.
Man. Yeah, it's 100% going to be back where I was sitting.
And I thought it had to do with me because we just don't have enough blocks and cable chargers.
Yeah.
And so I had a couple overnighted to me by Amazon.
Oh.
But it's the right female end, the wrong male
Oh,
end.
no. Yeah.
So he
Been
was
there.
going in to get me a new block, and you're like, "Who took my block?" And I made this face because I figured it was me
No.
through him.
It's a laptop one. It wouldn't be anything
And
like
then
a
you
phone
started
one.
Tweedledum dancing,
Yeah.
and she started boogering.
I was
and
doing the twist.
it's like, as long as this gets me off the hook, I'm fine.
Anyway, I'm scared to sit in the chair because I do fear that more boogers await me.
You think Matt's gonna do it again tomorrow?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Somebody's got some explaining
This
to
is
do.
like Sandwich Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably worse.
And once again, all the clues point to the Chris and Amy show.
Yeah.
Once more.
Which is only the Chris show today.
Ackerman was just texting me. He was in here for Gas House. Maybe he has some knowledge of it.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think Tom Ackerman is going to stand by
Well,
while
no, he
someone
sits
wipes
here
the
though,
boogers
so
on a chair.
he wouldn't have been in the boog chair.
No,
I think-
he's unaware, but he might be able to shed some
light. Yeah.
He would have warned you if he saw it. He would have been
Absolutely.
like,
he would
hey,
have
there's a
stood up.
booger.
He would have stopped
He's
that
a
person.
gentleman.
Yes.
He'd have been like, Debbie Monterey, I'm going to get you a tissue.
I just want the record to show I never for a second thought that it was Debbie Monterey.
Heard it here first, folks. J'accuse Debbie Monterey.
If she did it, it'd just be cute.
Yeah, I'd be like, aw.
Aw. Thank you, Deb.
I wouldn't have even used hand sanitizer after that.
No, you never wash those hands again. That's like a Paul McCartney bug.
Anyway. Rock and roll hoochie coo.
Oh, man. You know my little pieces of sheet that I have from the Beatles? So I think you know this story, Wheels, because we've talked about Detroit before. And I looked up my birth date on eBay once because I'm a narcissist. And up pops, here are pieces of the sheets that the Beatles slept on September 6, 1964, when they played in Detroit. And I bought them, and they were about an inch square. And I found them the other day you know, boys, when you cut yourself shaving, you take a little piece of toilet paper and you put it on it, and then you pull it off. That's what they look like now.
Okay.
They're just like tiny little things with a little something in the middle, and like, crap.
Dang
So,
it.
It's not like I was going to resell it or anything, but
Yeah.
no, I could do. Okay, here's how I think. I bought them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I own the rights to them.
Correct.
What if I just cut up some old-looking sheets now and glued them to a piece of paper and said, like, here they are? Because what they look like now are just really unimpressive.
Yeah. Prove they're not.
Prove they're not.
Prove they're not.
There you go.
I think you should scam those people, Dave.
Yeah. Do you remember how much those set you back? I mean, is it worth the scam? Is it worth the flip? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus, I'm never going to show them to anybody.
Yeah.
I've never showed anyone the originals.
Are they in like a frame?
No.
They're just like loose.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all on the same piece of paper.
They're like glued to a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm being sketchy about this.
No, I get it. I get what
did
you're
buy
saying.
them, but like, you know. What would be your dream thing like that? Whose sheets would you want to buy? Probably a bad question for Rachel today. A little too close to
Matt
home.
Pajeski's.
Ah!
No thanks. The more you guys suggest it, the more I'm convinced it was him.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
I doubt it's him.
I don't, you know.
Unless it was accidental.
it wasn't him.
Like there's a way that can be.
What
an
is this
accident.
refusal to accept that Matt could do it? I don't
'Cause
understand.
Matt's a
this.
nice guy.
Yeah,
He's a nice guy.
He doesn't seem like he's wiping his boogers.
Yeah, he's a
You
nice
can
guy.
be nice and wipe your boogers.
And he's
on
also
stuff.
for a young guy. He
It's not
acts
a
like an older guy.
disqualifying fact.
We've had plenty of people here who are booger woofers.
Yeah.
Well, and there are those that are more likely to relish in the fact,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like we had a bunch of, and I apologize for this, I really do, but it's life. We had a bunch of toenails in Andrew's office for months, and then someone got let go, and they stopped showing up.
No more toenails.
That's all I'm saying.
I am not accusing that person,
know-
but then again, I did accuse them every day since it first
I
started
did
happening.
note
so.
this as well. We've had fewer restroom issues in recent months.
Oh, yeah?
And I don't know who that would be tied to, but nobody's peeing on the seats anymore.
Oh, that's good.
Mm.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Just
That reminds me, driving home last night, I all I could smell was like a dirty diaper, and I became
Man, what a start to the show.
I became so paranoid that I was like, did someone put dirty diapers in my car to like punish me? Like I was having these
Okay.
paranoid thoughts, and then I finally realized, oh, there's a livestock truck.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, but it
So-
was like it was getting stronger and stronger. I'm like, what's going on?
But this is
It's
what
just
led
the way
me-
my car smells now.
This is what led me to think that I was possessed for those couple of weeks that I thought that.
What?
Like seeing strange goop around me and like
oh, the ectoplasm.
smelling, and like smelling, bad stuff when there shouldn't be anything
So you
bad
think
smelling
it was the
around.
combination of a cattle truck and Matt Pajeski?
That I was possessed, it could be.
All right.
I never really, don't forget, I never got like exercised or anything. I just kind of forgot that I was scared I was possessed.
You decided one day not to give the power to the demon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The demon was like, ah, shucks.
He was like, well, if this guy's not going to pay any attention to me, I guess I'll just leave.
Let's go to somebody else.
He walked away real slowly, kicking a rock and looking behind him sadly.
To answer your question though, Dave, about like the sheets, I don't know that I would be like super stoked on anything like that.
Mm.
You know, I think I'd be like, oh, that's neat, but unless I could like get it out and touch it all the time, like just like having it in a frame or something, I don't think would do much for me.
I
Gotcha.
would love to say that I am the same way because in my mind I am, and then I remember that at Disney World, Land last week I bought a $200 lightsaber hilt that looked like Luke
You
Skywalker's lightsaber hilt. Yeah.
You
But-
are living your life,
did you
brother.
get a lightsaber?
No, I didn't get the blade. I just got the hilt.
How much was the blade?
The blade was, I don't remember how, I was never going to get the blade. I just wanted
Okay.
the hilt. It comes in a little
You
box.
should get one of those little plastic lightsaber ones and put it in the hilt.
And I've picked it up and I've looked at it and I've been like,
You should wear it to work.
Welcome to my world.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Where are you going, Terry? Terry!
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Brought to you by Michael's Flooring Outlet. It's the simplest shopping and buying and installing experience you're ever going to have. I promise you. As I say many, many times, I don't like the sales process. I love the hunt. I love like deciding I want a new X and then like hunting for the right one and tracking it down. That I love. Once it's time to talk to the person who's selling it to you, I don't have so much fun. So I don't represent any places that have like real salesy sales people. At Mike's, any of the 3 locations, first of all, you have a third of it, 1 out of 3 chance that Mike's going to be there and he can help you if you want him to. But everyone there knows, like, wait on people, find out what they need, give them the best advice you can, give them the best prices that you can. Don't follow them around. Certainly don't hound them once they leave the store. That's the way he's done business for 30 years. It's the way he's done business with me for 24 years together. MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com.
Not available in all states. Rates vary. Building a financial safety net for your family can be tough. But with term life insurance through Ethos, you can have peace of mind that they can pay the mortgage and other bills if something happens to you. With coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online, Ethos finds your best rate across their multiple trusted carriers. Some policies as low as $1 a day billed monthly. And even in uncertain times, your term life insurance rates and payout don't change. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-million. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
This is Megan Lynch. 250 doctors go to Ophthalmology Associates. That's why I trust them. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
KMOX is now on 104.1 FM, the same great station with even better sound.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 123. Okay, just to put a period at the end of this sentence, Rachel thinks she found a booger on her chair. The last one to sit there was Matt Pajeski. Wheeler confronted him, and he said, I did not wipe a booger on the chair, but I did eat some green grapes that are very boogerish. And to that, I just have to say, he had that excuse pretty quickly.
A likely story.
Yeah.
But he had a witness that he was eating green grapes.
Who
Chris Ranji.
That's not. That is the least reliable witness.
I actually believe this story less now.
They wouldn't even
mind,
subpoena him for a court case.
Keep in
They're
mind,
like, we
though,
can't trust anything.
He also
says
did that
even
in front of
under oath.
Aki, so we could call Tom and say, "Did you see any green grapes being eaten?"
Yeah.
I mean, we all trust Tom. We may not trust Ranj as much, but we trust Tom.
I appreciate the explanation. However, just based on the memory of the texture that my thumb was
Not
unfortunate.
grapey?
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was a grape.
So it was
I
more
think
crunchy?
It was more like ticky tack.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, it had some stick to it.
Yeah. Which, was there anything better in school than when you would come across some ticky-tack?
What's ticky-tack?
People teachers would use it on the back of a poster to stick it on the wall.
Kind of like gum?
Yeah,
spirit gum?
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for us, it was rubber cement.
Yeah. That stuff. That's
Yeah.
boogery.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But also not a boog, so it's not as gross.
Yeah.
Right?
But-
like, it was perfectly acceptable to play with rubber cement.
Yes.
Not so much with the boog.
You ever cover your hand in Elmer's glue and let it dry?
And then pull the skin off?
Yeah.
Yep. I think pretty much everybody did that.
Did you ever get those chocolate bars that like the German club would sell to go to Germany, and then you could like put them on your desk and like rub them with your fingernail and they would stick?
No.
They were gold. They were wrapped in like Willy Wonka gold paper.
I remember that. I don't remember the thing you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
Did not do that.
I had someone, gosh, I don't know if I should tell the story. Someone in my life who knew the person whose family made those chocolates.
Okay.
And they started giving them to this person so that they could sell them for charity. And about a year in, because it was your childhood. These things are going like gangbusters. I said, what charity are you giving these to? And the person goes, mine. So they were just getting them for free and selling them supposedly for charity and keeping the dough.
Man, that's a scam.
Yeah, right?
What age?
50.
Oh, jeez. I thought you were like, it was like a 13-year-old or something.
This is on radio.
Oh, my God. That's not good. That's not good at all.
No, not great.
It's been a scandalous day.
It has.
It has. At least we solved the mystery of the laptop charger.
Yeah, it fell into a drawer.
It fell into a drawer.
It did. The drawer was half open, and it must
It
have
fell
dropped
out of
into there.
my underturned hand into
No,
a
it just-
drawer.
It was, like I stacked my stuff right above that drawer, and it was partly open, and I just it must have either fallen in or
It got accidentally scooped.
Did you hear about the guy that got sucked up? He was on a hang glider, which go about 2,000 or 3,000 feet high, and he hit some sort of a thermal, and it sucked him up 5 miles into the sky. And he was freezing. Like, he has video of it, and he's just, like, covered in ice. He was up there 5
How do you get
miles.
down from that?
It just slowly let him down.
So you just kind of like circle around? Is that what it is? Like,
Yeah. He just flew in the ice for several minutes.
Hell? That sucks.
I know.
You got to be thinking, this is it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
really
Like,
do.
I'm 5 miles up. I am
I mean,
done.
you're up there with planes.
Yeah.
Start your day with an edge.
Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain. I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news. Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
If it's gonna rain, I want to know.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news.
The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Dr. Albert Kim.
It's just really scary when someone hears that they have a brain tumor. We're here to help you, guide you through that, and also to have a treatment plan that you can understand so you can be successful in terms of not only clinical outcomes or something sterile like that, but also so you could have a fulfilling life.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-317-1890. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-317-1890. 800-317-1890. 800-317-1890.
Dave Murray's forecast is sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies.
Pretty good looking Wednesday afternoon around town. We'll call it partly sunny. It's nice, 76 degrees. Tiny, tiny chance of a sprinkle. Just don't be surprised. Most of us will not see anything. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, dropping through the 70s this evening. Nice evening. 55 for the low. Another weak system coming by Thursday and Thursday night. Partly to mostly cloudy Thursday. Couple of showers from time to time, 74. Scattered showers Thursday night. Friday, mostly sunny, 75. Saturday and Sunday, sunny, warm it to 84. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Hi, I'm Travis McGowan of the Travis Group, a health insurance brokerage. At the Travis Group, we specialize in helping individuals, families, and small businesses make sense of their health insurance options. Whether you're turning 65, your kids are aging off of your plan, or you're looking for better accident and hospital coverage, the Travis Group is here to offer honest-to-goodness health insurance guidance. As a St. Louis native, husband, and father of 5, I know how important it is to protect what matters. Visit us for more information at travis4insurance.com.
If you got some goals in mind that you're working toward and you're thinking about maybe some protein powders or some kind of pre-workout, post-workout, if you're thinking about that or you're just not sure the path to follow, go to Supplement Superstores. I've been going there for 12, 13 years now. They're the best. You're always going to get the best information. So if you're not sure about the path you want to follow, they're going to help you. Everybody that works at Supplement Superstores is a certified sports nutrition specialist and a personal trainer. So they can help you build an eating plan, which they will offer to do. You just walk in there, you'll get greeted. It's always a happy voice. They keep great energy in there because obviously, part of this is making sure that we're all kind of in the right vibe, feeling the right way to get things going on our goals. But you're going to always have that option there. They're going to sit down with you and tell you, we can help you with your workout routine. We can help you with your eating plan, and that costs you absolutely nothing. And then obviously you can follow up on which supplements work for you, regardless of what they're looking for. And Supplement Superstores, always on the cutting edge of science, so they will always have the best supplements available for you. So to find your location and get started down that path of success, just go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Looking for the perfect townhome in St. Peters? Don't miss the display grand opening of the Towns at Linneman, Saturday, June 7th from 12 to 5 p.m. Tour our brand new decorated display, enjoy appetizers, and enter our prize giveaway. Visit us and discover luxury 2 to 3 bedroom townhomes with 2-car attached garages and unparalleled community amenities, including a pool, pool house, dog park, and more. Plus, enjoy pre-construction pricing up to $25,000 off. Visit us just south of 364 west of Jung Station Road. For more details, visit LombardoHomes.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Tonight, the Cards, the Orioles.
Ameren Total Access 440.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back, DGS 133. Paul says it's so crazy when you guys are talking, then just stop all interactions as a break comes up out of nowhere to us watching. It's been interesting just to see how doing a radio show goes. I'm glad you guys are here and watching this, but I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, if we were doing something, if it were like performative, and I would get it. But it's like just watching us talk into a microphone, I don't get. What am I missing?
Just how awesome we all look.
I guess so.
I mean, I have a couple of podcasts that I do prefer to watch them on video. I still will just listen sometimes, but if I'm on my phone or something, I'll throw it up on the YouTubes, and all they do is talk into a mic, but it's nice to see facial expressions.
It's kind of the difference between talking to somebody on the phone versus like seeing them in person and talk. Like it's better to see somebody when you're listening.
I know
to
what it's
them.
like to see people. Like you don't have to go that far back.
It's like when your eyes are open.
I think I think it's that simple.
Okay.
I think
All
it's if you're going to listen to somebody talk, it's more fun to watch them do it.
Fine. Also, let me just cover this since we interact with people on the stream every day. Yesterday, we had a listener calling us idiots because we're not anti-vax. And we didn't block them or anything like that, although we reserve the right to do that. And let me tell you sort of my theory on this for 25 years. So when I'm doing a radio show and you're listening or you're interacting even more on the stream, whether you're, hey, we love you guys, greatest show on earth, you're a bunch of idiots, I hate you, whatever it is. I feel like I have invited you to my home. Like I'm inviting you to a party, to a barbecue or something. And I owe you a certain amount of deference. Like, hey, it's a barbecue. Let's not do hard drugs and have a freak off or anything. But I'm going to give you a little latitude.
No Diddy party at the Glover
because
house.
I invited you over.
Yeah.
Right? But if you get out of hand and start insulting me or my family or my friends, then I'm probably going to ask you politely to leave. And if you won't, then we're probably going to kick you out. Like normal people do in normal situations. And this is kind of an abnormal situation because we're not real people. We're just two-dimensional faces that talk, right? So people feel like they can say things to us, and you can. I never, ever have a problem with someone disagreeing with me or disagreeing with me about politics. But when you start name-calling, and someone was really mean to Andrew a couple weeks ago, and we blocked them, that's it.
Bye.
I think those are normal rules.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't abuse people.
Have some manners.
Yeah, just have some
manners.
class.
Yeah, disagreement's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
And the best thing I've ever been called an idiot for in my life is not being not being anti-vax.
Not understanding what gene therapy is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
When you don't understand things, don't lecture other people about being stupid.
Be nice.
Yeah, I actually put on the sheet, like, I'm just really tired of people being mean on the internet. Not saying, like, we're just inundated with hate all the time. That's not true. But whenever someone
we have
does...
it easy.
Yeah, but just seeing it, like, towards other people, and then the times it does happen to us, I'm just like, I have, for years, what have I said, Dave? It's best to just pretend you don't see it. It's best not to engage. I don't know. Maybe they've just finally caught me at like a vulnerable moment here, but I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll start being mean back because I'm kind of tired of it. Like, if you want to come onto the stream and call us idiots, like, who's really the idiot here when you're the one using your precious time to watch something that you apparently hate, but I'm the idiot? How does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Just in general, though, I think this is a common theme, though, is that there are a lot of, it's easy on the internet to write checks that your ass can't cash.
Yeah.
Right? You talk tough or you're going to insult people, and you wouldn't insult that same person to their face most likely because face-to-face confrontation is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
At the best case, and sometimes dangerous, because if you get in the wrong person's face, that person might have a reaction that you're going to get an immediate feedback on, and that person might end up being in trouble for that, but you're still going to wear it. And that online, that just doesn't exist, right? Online, you can be the tough guy, you can be the smart ass, you can be the troll and always pick a fight because nobody really knows who you are unless you set it up so that they do. And I don't know there's a great solution to that because all you got to do to change it up is just create a new account that's not you. It's not your name. It's not your picture. You know, there's nothing unless you're going to go into forensics and track someone down through their IP address, which none of us are going to do. That's only going to happen if the authorities need to track down to see if someone makes a threat, for an example. You know, if you're going to do that, you're never going to face consequences. You can just be the giant butthole for eternity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and often I feel bad
Good
for
name
these...
for an album, by the way.
Just be my nickname.
What band would that album be for?
Rick Derringer.
No, most of the time I feel bad for these people because I'm like, something's going on. Like, something would have to be going really, really wrong with my day in order for me to, like, make a sassy comment on somebody's Facebook post. Like, that's a bad day for Rach. So if you're doing that all the time, like, you have my sympathy, but also there's only so much you want to put up with, and then you might get some sass back. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. People don't have to find out as much as they used to.
No.
When the only way to insult someone was face-to-face. Obviously, that's not as common now because it's not – in your normal day-to-day life, you probably don't want to do that to people you know.
Yeah.
Right? But it's easy when it's someone you don't know. It's easy when it's just a name on the other side of your computer screen to be a complete jerk.
Yeah.
Good rule of thumb I follow. If you're thinking about doing it, maybe don't. And that applies to pretty much everything. If you think maybe, I should say this, or, I'm going to do this, maybe don't.
Yeah, but again, there are things that are okay. It's fine to disagree with people. It's okay sometimes to even get mad during a disagreement. It's just different when you're taking it to that next level of insulting, or you're going to go to, making sexist jokes or racist jokes, whatever. When you're going to go low, just don't. But that's what makes those people feel good. It makes the people that do that feel powerful because they feel like they're controlling the situation. Whether they do or that they don't really is up to the person on the receiving end, right? Yeah. If it bothers the person, well, then, yes, that person's getting what they want. If it doesn't bother the person getting it, then the person doing it is just feeling better, even though not really accomplishing anything.
We've talked about this before, but I have said, like people talk about reincarnation. And if you came back, would you come back as a dog or a cat or a richest guy in the world? I'd come back as a complete a-hole because you die thinking you killed it. You die thinking everyone loved you and everyone who didn't was just a jerk and they're stupid. You know what I'm saying?
And the rules don't apply to you.
And the rules don't apply. And so all that really matters, unless there really is a God and there really is judgment and reward and punishment. But if not, then all that matters is the experience you had on Earth. Yeah. And if through your limbic nervous system, you perceive that you are the main character and everyone loves you and everyone who doesn't is lesser, what's better than that?
I mean, so you mentioned...
I'm going through life thinking the opposite. Right? Yeah. I'm like people-pleasing, ADHD, OCD, every letter you can have behind your name, including MD. Right? It's just like, I would trade it.
Yeah. Well, you brought this up the other day, and I watched it last night, the Brett Favre, the untold Brett Favre story. I watched it last night. He's the exact example of what you're talking about. What a giant jerk that guy's been his entire life, but he's worshipped. To him, he's killing it. To him, he's killing it. It doesn't matter that he was sending wiener pics to a lady that he didn't know at all, who just happened to work for the Jets at the time, while he was married, he was doing that stuff while his wife was having cancer treatments. And then, of course, now the most recent thing is he's taking welfare money for himself and to build a volleyball stadium for his daughter's college volleyball team. Taking money from the poorest people in the poorest state, his state. And he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. He thinks he's being persecuted. Like that's the life you're talking about.
A lot of people like that.
That's exactly what you're talking about. Literally everything in his life has been under his control because of his talent, and he gets to do all the nasty, horrible things that he wants to.
Yeah.
And nothing bad has happened to him yet other than being accused of stuff, and he thinks that's being persecuted.
Yeah, I saw that he says he's being persecuted because he supports President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew he was a Trump supporter, nor do I care. I only know about all those things you just listed, Wheels.
Yeah, I mean, we have the text messages. We saw what you sent to Jen Sturger. He was basically stalking her, like constantly messaging her with her always saying, no, I have no interest, no. The two of them never met or had a conversation. He just kept sending her messages because he got her phone number from a team employee who broke the law giving out an employee's number to another person without their permission. And then he sends, weenie pics. Again, while married, his wife's recovering from cancer treatments, and this is what he's doing, and he thinks he's the victim.
Yeah.
That's my point. That's who you're talking about. Yeah, to him, he's killing it. Why is everybody against me? Brother, you'd be fired and in jail if you were in a normal job.
Can I talk about a baseball thing?
Yes.
I almost texted you last night, but I knew that you were at practice, and you wouldn't get it, wouldn't understand it. But last night when Gorman and Walker struck out back-to-back,
Mm-hmm.
I was ready to trade them for a stale box of Twinkies. I became the angry Cardinal fan.
And then 3 innings later.
3 innings later.
3 innings later.
But I was talking about this with Aki earlier on, and we should talk to Bernie about it as well, that in most walks of life, you are serving a clientele who really don't understand.
Mm.
We're like that. Most of the people on the stream are like that. And certainly sports are like that. That Steven and Ackerman and I were saying that probably if you and Ackerman and Bernie and you guys are at the 90th percentile of acumen and I'm at the 55th percentile, I probably know more than the average bear, but only because I'm obsessed with it. That if most people have like a 30% knowledge of it, but those are the people who round out your 3 million customers a year.
Yeah.
And so, like we were talking, Tom and I, that the Cardinals may be in a tough position because if we keep winning and we're down to a battle with the Cubs for the division and we start decimating the team to try to build for future years, they're going to lose those people.
Yeah.
And probably lose me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they'd lose you guys, if you'd be able to see, like, oh, yeah, what they're doing is the smart thing to do.
Yeah. There's two portions of every fan base that are never going anywhere. And it's the sweater knitters and it's the nerds like me. Right? Like the diehards, we love it because we love baseball and we follow the teams that we follow because they're our hometown teams or we grew up with them or whatever. Those two groups of people are never going anywhere. But neither group is the majority. I would argue that those two groups are probably combined 40%.
Sounds right.
Of your fan base. I'd say top 20, not in order of like importance, but like there's 20 and 20. 20% of people are they're happy fans. They're there. They bake cookies for players. They just love everything. And no matter how the team is, they're there thick or thin. There's the people that are like me that are in that group where like we pay attention every day. We watch every game. We watch every inning of every game. And we get mad and we talk about things but we're not going anywhere. And then there's that group of people in the middle that have 3 kids and they have a busy schedule and you have to get their time. You have to earn their time. They care. They're not the haters. They're not the ones that are always mad and they're not the sweater knitters. But you have to vie for their time and money against other things.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest group to get because you have to win their time.
What percentage are the people, mostly guys, who think they know better than everyone, but don't really have a good grasp?
Oh, it's a big percentage. And again, it's not because you couldn't know it. It's just because you haven't had either the access or haven't had the time to know it. Some people, it's just they don't want to take the time to learn things. Like it's easier to go by your gut, and there are a lot of people who think their gut tells them everything they need to know, which is silliness. It's just silliness. No team is run that way. No manager runs that way. That's old school. And even that, the gut of a Whitey Herzog was informed by 40 years of day-to-day baseball experience on the field, right?
Yeah.
The gut of somebody watching is not going to match that. You just aren't, no matter what you saw. I'd say that's but the people that are going to look at it that way, probably a good solid 30 to 40%.
Yeah.
And again, it's not because you can't know it,
yeah,
or because you're dumb, or it's not that at all.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of proximity, and then how much time do you put in to learn things?
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, is JC coming in?
Yeah.
Okay, so JC Corcoran is going to be in here at the top of the hour. He is spearheading doing this event in memory of Brian McKenna, celebration of Brian McKenna's life. Coming up on Saturday, so I will be talking to JC at the top of the hour. Tell you guys about the Universal Windows Direct kickoff to home improvement season. This is a special deal that they are doing. I think it's the best deal I've seen them do. So I talk probably way too much inside baseball, no pun, about how I do these live endorsements, but I do them a lot. They've been a big part of my career, and I view this as a double sell. First, I have to sell you on maybe you need new windows. Then I have to sell you on that Universal Windows Direct are the company for you. And that's difficult. I always say this, regardless of what I'm selling you, that if you watch television, you're seeing lawyer ads, you're seeing big pharma drugs, and you're seeing windows, and that's about it. So there are a lot of companies out there vying for your attention. Universal Windows Direct is solid. They give you a lifetime warranty, guarantee, 0 questions asked. Right now, for a limited time, they're giving you half off Windows. They're giving you 12 months without payment or interest and a free entry door with your window purchase. Call 314-334-2522 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com.
It's been more than 60 years since St. Louis was hit by a tornado of the scale we're witnessing. The Salvation Army has been in St. Louis providing relief for over 160 years and responded immediately following the latest round of storms. How can you help? The Salvation Army needs monetary donations so that needs can be addressed immediately. And as we look to long-term recovery, 100% of donations go directly to storm survivors. Donate at salarmy.us/mid-disaster or call 1-800-SAL-ARMY.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
I really need funding to expand my inventory.
Swish Funding can help you expand inventory, upgrade equipment, and boost your cash flow.
Well, okay, but I need funding fast.
Swish Funding provides funding from $25,000 to $2 million with payment terms tailored to your needs and cash in your account in less than 24 hours.
So what's the catch?
No catch. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000, you could qualify. Just go to swishfunding.com to apply. That's swishfunding.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with 0 experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house? On the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
Welcome back, guys. DGS on KMOX. Show of hands, how many people voted for the DGS on St. Louis Magazine A-list? All right. Full participation. Good to see that.
A few times.
Oh. Only done twice.
Well,
there's a link up on the Dave Glover Show Facebook page, or just go to stlmag.com. Scroll to kind of the bottom of their webpage, and you'll see a big banner for the A-List Awards. We are under Arts and Entertainment, and then Best Talk News Radio Show.
Under T.
We are art.
We are art.
Oh, yes.
Living art.
And entertainment.
I am art. Wait, that sounds like a person.
And you can vote once a day, which I am doing. But I want to win this one.
Nice.
Because we've taken the tack before where we're like, this is so stupid and it's all bought and paid for and blah, 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 blah. And then we lose. It's like, well, everyone else is motivating their
It's like the lottery,
people.
right?
Yeah.
Can't win if you don't play.
Got to play. Yeah, that's kind of a punk thing, is when you're doing something but you're not winning. You're like, I'm not even trying. which I have done a lot in my life.
I wasn't even trying.
Not even trying. Let me know when you want me to start trying. Okay, now's good.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, there's this tennis player, Nick Kyrgios, who's always like, I could win a Grand Slam if I wanted to.
If I cared.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. I'm like, okay, so you don't want to win a Grand Slam is what you're saying. Like, you just go out there for no reason. Like, it's such a silly, stupid thing to say. It's so childish.
What percentage of our bull crap does everyone see through?
Most of it, I
90.
think. Yeah.
90%.
Yeah.
But then they're also doing their own bull crap, so that's why they don't call
Yeah.
bull crap on other people, because we all got our bull crap.
Yep. So true.
And if you call other people on it, then they're going to call you on yours, and then it's,
I was thinking about time travel last night.
Oh.
As I do.
Yes.
Thinking about simulation theory and all such. And one of the big theories is that we are a simulation done by future humans who've developed this unimaginable technology, and they are reliving or at least watching us live the past lives of humans, which made me think if we really did develop time travel and we had an oasis about hell of a world, and we could come back and take people from this hellhole to that, would we do it? Or would we just say, like, nope, this is their lot in life. They're going to live in 2025, or they're going to live in 1200 AD. Would there be some, like, obligation to save people from their time? Think about it. Report back to me.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist with Timberline Professional Tree Care. In my nearly 30 years in the industry, I've seen firsthand what damage falling trees can do to your property. The sad thing is that most trees that fail have defects that can be identified by a well-trained certified arborist. At Timberline, we have 7 ISA certified arborists, 3 of which have gone through extensive training and testing to become tree risk assessment qualified. Our track certified arborists can perform a thorough assessment of your tree and provide mitigation options for your peace of mind. If there's nothing wrong with your tree, we will let you know that it poses a low risk of failure. If it needs to be removed, we'll tell you in a detailed written report. It's all about honesty and integrity here at Timberline Professional Tree Care. So call us today to get a tree risk assessment scheduled, 636-479-7475, or contact us through our website at stltreecare.com.
Best thing you guys can do if divorce has become a part of your vernacular, or if it's a good friend who is confiding in you about thinking about filing for divorce, or that their spouse has brought it up, or they found something out that they don't like, send them to Susan L. Ward, or if it's you, go to Susan L. Ward. Here's what you can do. You can call her at 314-783-9400. You can reach out to them by email if you go to stlfamilylaw.com. You let them know that you listen to the DGS or KMOX and you would like to get a free consultation with Susan. She'll set up about a 15 or 20-minute consultation over the phone because it's free. She's not going to charge you anything. And what I would recommend that you do is write down your top 5 to 10 questions. 5 if they're going to be complicated, like, hey, we have $600,000 in a 401k, and I had $100,000 in it before I got married, and now blah, 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 blah. Or if it's simpler things like, the kids are never simple, but you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what's the current law on how much time a dad gets as opposed to a mom? Write down your questions. She'll give you actual answers. She's not going to fudge and be like, well, that's really dependent. She'll let you know, well, you're in St. Charles County, which means that maintenance may be a little less than if you're in St. Louis County. She'll give you actual answers to your questions, which may help you to make the right decision. 314-783-9400, stlfamilylaw.com.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Remember how Schnucks recently lowered everyday prices on thousands of items across the store? Well, I have great news. They've lowered prices on even more items. And this time it's on popular items like Kraft Singles, Breyer's Ice Cream, Pop-Tarts, Pepperidge Farm buns. They've even lowered the prices on household supplies like Clorox wipes. And remember, these are not sale items. These are dependable everyday prices that Schnucks has lowered for you. So if you're curious to know if any of your favorite items have new lower prices, just check out the digital shelf tags around the store to find tons more items. Those are everyday savings you can count on right at your local Schnucks store. And while you're shopping, make sure you use your Schnucks Rewards app. You guys, it is so easy and quick to set this up, and it saves you so much time, so much money. You earn 2% cash back on every single thing you purchase. Plus, you get tons of digital offers and coupons. And I like to just keep my grocery list right there on the app. That saves me tons of time, even helps me find certain items in the store. So go download it today. It's the Schnucks Rewards app.
Winner of 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards, including Overall Excellence. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 2 o'clock, we have clouds and 72 degrees. I'm Maria Aquina, in for Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, President Trump expressing frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin and the stalled peace talks with Ukraine, saying he does not like what's happening and, quote, we're not going to allow it. His comments come after Moscow launched the largest air attacks in a full-scale 3-year war with Ukraine. Meanwhile, Reuters is reporting that Russia has proposed holding the next round of direct talks with Ukraine in Istanbul on June 2nd. Ukraine has not yet accepted that invitation. CBS News intelligence and national security reporter Olivia Gazis.
The Kremlin spokesperson first offered thanks and praise to the American president for organizing this negotiation process, while at the same time suggesting Trump was suffering from some sort of emotional overload in issuing the tweets that he had. It's a new dynamic, signaling on the part of President Trump at least a rhetorical shift that he's losing patience with the lack of progress.
A 4-year-old girl fighting for her life at Los Angeles Children's Hospital, and now her family is fighting to stay in the country. That's because her parents just received a deportation order. CBS Los Angeles' Tom Waite has details.
Young Sophia has a rare condition called short bowel syndrome or short intestine syndrome, which requires 14 hours a day of intravenous nutrition. Sophia was diagnosed as a baby in her home country of Mexico, where doctors told her mother she needed to come to the U.S. for life-saving care. In 2023, an emergency visa allowed Sophia to get treatment at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. But now Sophia's life could be on the line again because her mother received a letter revoking their legal status.
And according to the attorneys for the family, the doctors say if the child's treatment is interrupted, she will die within a matter of days. Vice President J.D. Vance urging the cryptocurrency industry to remain active in the U.S. politics and policymaking, highlighting the Trump administration's close ties to a deep-pocketed industry that's become a powerful force in Washington. Speaking at a Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, Vance told the crowd,
in our administration, we understand the full potential of the digital assets industry, not just as an investment, not just as a flashy technology, but as a symbol and driver of personal liberty for all our citizens.
Vance's speech comes after Mr. Trump promised to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the planet when talking to a Bitcoin conference in Nashville. That was last year during the presidential campaign. Neighbors have stepped up to help tornado-ravaged North St. Louis since the tornado struck on May 16th.
Went to grab her chainsaw.
Debris from 100-year-old crumbling homes on Enright Avenue and surrounding streets is still on the ground. 12 days after an EF3 tornado hit North St. Louis, Ali Rand, who lives in the Central West End, has been taking off of work to lead volunteers to get it cleaned up.
If every contractor listening to this or skilled labor could give me 8 hours of free work, just give me 8 hours. We can put you on a roof. We can get real stuff done.
Rand says all of the dumpsters and earth-moving equipment you see on Enright have been from volunteers and not from the government.
Porta potties on the streets and dumpsters to fill up your trash. These are just basic human needs. And those people who have stepped up and seen that and put the dollars completely out of their mind, they are carrying the city right now.
Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe ordering 41 troops from the National Guard into North St. Louis today to bring relief to those volunteers. The city of St. Louis officially requesting that help from the National Guard on Friday. From the KMOX Business Desk, University City and Dearborg's markets will have a groundbreaking ceremony to kick off construction of the new 75,000 square foot grocery store at the market at Olive Development. This marks a milestone in the redevelopment of Olive Boulevard at 170 into a commercial residential hub. And a check of our traffic. Right now, it looks like we have just some road work problems. Westbound 44 at 55, there is a stall. That's on the right shoulder. Westbound 44 at 7th Street. Watch out there. There's a stall. That's on the left shoulder. And westbound 40 drivers before Clayton, they have cleared that accident. And just a quick check of the Dow by Stiefel this hour. Right now, it is still down 138 points. Make that 139 to 42,204. The weather is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical Specialists.
Pretty good looking Wednesday afternoon around town. We'll call it partly sunny. It's nice, 76 degrees. Tiny, tiny chance of a sprinkle. Just don't be surprised. Most of us will not see anything. Tonight, partly cloudy skies dropping through the 70s this evening. Nice evening. 55 for the low. Another weak system coming by Thursday and Thursday night. Partly to mostly cloudy Thursday. Couple of showers from time to time. 74. Scattered showers Thursday night. Friday, mostly sunny, 75. Saturday and Sunday, sunny, warm it to 84. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Right now in St. Peter's, 70 degrees, 72 in Florissant, and downtown at the Arts, we have clouds and 72. I'm Maria Akina, KMOX News.
While you might not give a hoot about this week's space launch, you sure as sunshine care when your AC goes down. Well, good news, a Jerry Kelly per-producing tune-up is just 98 smackers right this very moment. 98 bucks.
JerryKelly.com. The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 1041 FM KMOX. If you're watching on the stream, you see that my good buddy JC Corcoran is in with us. Welcome back.
Hey, Jim Peterick right there from 38 Special, Chicago boy.
Yeah.
He just came from Chicago a couple of days ago, and he told me a great story. I had him on the air maybe 2 years ago, and I have to tell the whole story some other time. But Sylvester Stallone left a message on his answering machine wanting him to do the Eye of the Tiger thing. They didn't know it at the time that it was going to be Eye of the Tiger. And Peter never called him back because he thought it was one of the guys in the band just screwing around with him.
Oh, no.
That's great.
And finally, somebody said, maybe you should, his wife actually said, maybe you should call that number back. And it's like, it's pretty funny message you got there. You know? So that's how the whole
great.
Eye of the Tiger thing came about.
Jeff Carlisi, the lead guitarist, is a dear friend of mine, and he came in town one time, and we went to Killer Vintage over in Jameson, and me and Jimmy and Dave Cowles and Greg Holub played 38 Special with him upstairs.
Oh, God.
How great is that?
Jimmy was doing the Real Men of Genius thing with Pete Stacker, and they came into the studio one morning and did a live Real Men of Genius in the studio with us. It was unbelievable. Except Jimmy wasn't very appreciative. It's 7:45 in the morning. You had a rock singer who's usually getting home about that time.
Right.
And now you're asking him to sing a cappella. But it worked out okay.
Man, just hearing your voice in the radio takes me back. 1984, probably.
Might have been 1884. I'm not really sure.
And I was on
a
a landscaping crew, and they're like, "Have you heard this guy?" I'm like, "No." And like half an hour in, I'm like, "How does he get away with this stuff?" I don't even know.
By the same token, I worked here 32 years ago.
Yeah.
And if I had talked about peeing on the toilet seat,
boogers.
The guy who was running the place at the time, who was, let's just say, wound a little tight.
Yeah.
He just would have thrown me out the window.
Yeah.
Practically did anyhow.
Yeah, Mr. Highland's not even near his grave anymore. I mean, he's spun so much. So
I had Rodney, and it was unpleasant.
Yeah.
But
I remember that though.
Yeah.
I remember it all. I remember all your battles. Like Artie, right?
I'm glad somebody does.
It was great.
I'm done with all that. I'm tired of people being mad at me. And so, I just want to do what I do, and people either like it or don't like it. And, the McKenna family was nice enough to ask me to MC this event on Saturday, this celebration of life, 2 to 7. They're closing down Mackland at Devonshire. And, it's supposed to be sunny, about 84 degrees. We've got 7 restaurants and 2 bands and a DJ and me. And we're going to go out there, and it is going to be a celebration of life. How well did you guys know him?
Very well.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
Very
pretty
well. Yeah. We all had our different relationships with him.
We were on the air on 9/11 together.
Oh, wow.
Karen
Wow.
Kelly, me, and Brian.
Yeah.
And so I was sort of chained to the, the quote anchor desk, and they were the ones running out to the AP machine, Associated Press. We had the ticker thing at that time, and coming in and giving me the constant updates and everything. I couldn't have done what I did that day without Karen Kelly, who was in management here for a while, and Brian McKenna. They did such a great job. And when you go through something like that together, we were on the air 8.5 hours, 8.5 hours straight. And you do that together, you are bonded for life, for life.
Totally.
So.
No, I knew Brian so very well. And like we're watching the stream right here, and he was on it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say something, and I would respond to him, and he would give the cry emoji, and he was just the best. And before you walked in the door, I was thinking about kind of what to say. And we're all individuals, and anyone who passes away, people are going to laud them, and oh my gosh, he was the greatest of this, she was the greatest of that. And then you have like the McKinnis of the world, who truly are special.
Yeah, really different guy. He never met a stranger. He was so kind to people. And for all of the publicity that he got for the stuff that was front and center, it was the tip of the iceberg. He was doing all sorts of stuff. And frankly, doing the stuff that a lot of other people don't want to do, even who are charitable in nature. Kids who were developmentally disadvantaged and disabled and stuff like that. He's going to their prom and dancing with these kids who really are behind the 8 ball. And, nobody really does a lot of that stuff. And he did it, and he did it without publicity, wasn't under a spotlight, wasn't on camera. He just wanted to do that stuff. Yeah. And that's the way he was. And this is why I think if we get sunny and 84 degrees, which is what Dave is calling for right now. And isn't it great, by the way, to just be able to say, like if I say, well, I can say Wheels and everybody knows it's him. But if I say Dave around here, everybody just assumes it's Dave Murray.
It's true.
And it's too bad for you, by the way. But,
no, it's true.
Well, he's just known as Glover, though.
Yeah, that's true. You can do that, too.
No, it's so, do you know this story about how I met Dave earlier in life?
Dave Murray?
See, you'll love this. So I was telling him the story. I said, Dave, when I was about 10 or 12, we had this group of weather students come to our local grade school.
Did Dave inappropriately touch you in a weather camp or something?
Not inappropriately. It led to many things later in my life.
Very appropriately.
But they had these giant weather balloons, and I said, I asked a guy if I could have one, and he gave it to me, and there's this long pause, and he goes, that was me. He said, I remember being there at the South Roxana grade school, and a kid asked me for a weather balloon, and we only had like 5. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
I'm like 10 years old meeting Dave Murray, who ends up being on my show for 25
Wheels,
years.
when did you start getting interested in this business?
I studied in college, so yeah.
So
I went to broadcasting school. I mean,
when you were
that
broadcast
late,
journalism.
You weren't one of these kids at like
I
5 or
listened
6 years old?
No, I was. I didn't. Well,
He was going to go pro.
Sports talk radio didn't exist when I was a kid.
That's true.
So I didn't think about talk radio. I was thinking about either playing or broadcasting baseball, right? Like I grew up in Detroit, so I grew up on guys like Ernie Harwell. Sure. And listening to Jack Buck after the Tigers games ended because I could get KMOX in Detroit. So the later games, I could just flip over and I would hear Jack calling those games. So, I mean, all the Whitey Ball era, I was listening to those games late at night.
That press box, by the way, at Tiger Stadium was
The
so
old one?
weird.
Oh, yeah.
The way that place was built, that press box, you were practically sitting above the catcher. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
so weird. People think
The upper deck was almost flush with the lower deck in most of the stadium. Yeah.
People think that Wrigley Field is intimate. Rachel, when did you start really getting interested in doing this for a living?
You know, I kind of fell into it in college. They just kind of like stuck me in the radio
Or
program.
were you pushed?
Yeah, I guess kind of pushed. And I
If
actually
you weren't doing this, what do you think you'd be doing?
That's such a good question. I honestly don't know.
Wheels, if you weren't in this business,
I'd be coaching full
you'd be
time
coaching.
somewhere somehow. Yeah.
Dave.
Serving, but we'd be waiting at Bruce Chris or Capitol Grill. I'm not even kidding. I'm not going to get my license back. I let that lapse.
Does it ever feel like, all of that, law school is not exactly just a stroll in the park, and you did all that, and you're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Do you ever look back at that and go, wow?
No, I don't, but my daughter's looking at law school now, and she's
Oh.
going to be doing an internship this summer, and everyone asks me, like, why would you let her do? Well, I just had a bad experience. Mine was just different from other people. I see my friends who are lawyers now with little gray around the temples, and they're wearing suits. They look like grown-ups, and they did fine.
Tell that story about, I looked in the phone book for a law firm, Schwartz, 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 and Schwartz. Called the number. I'd like to talk to Mr. Schwartz. I'm sorry he's on vacation. He'll be back in 2 weeks. Okay, let me talk to Mr. Schwartz. Sorry he's out to lunch. Let me talk to Mr. Schwartz. Sorry he called in sick today. Let me talk to Mr. Schwartz. Speaking. People aren't exactly knocking themselves out in the law firm.
So how about you?
What
Was
about
this
me?
like a lifelong, as a kid?
What would I be doing? I'd probably be doing 8 to 10 at a federal prison. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. This is the only skill I have, and even that's debatable. But yeah,
How did you get into it? I don't know that story.
Oh, I knew at birth. I just, when I was 5 years old, I had an uncle who played with the Chicago Cubs.
You were pretty serious about baseball as well.
Yeah, 58 to 64, my uncle Don Elston, relief pitcher. And he's the guy, by the way, on whom the modern-day save rule is based. And that's a long story involving the Chicago papers and everything like that. But I wanted to meet the broadcasters. So I would ask my Uncle Don, can I meet Jack Brickhouse, who was the big, he was the equivalent of Jack Buck and people like that in Chicago. And you say stupid things when you're a kid. I was like 5 or 6 years old. I'm introduced to Jack Brickhouse, and he was balding. And I just said to him, when I grow up, I want to get a job like yours. I want to get a haircut like yours. And he says to me, well, when you grow up, get a job like your father and get a haircut like your father. But I knew I was going to be doing this from 5 or 6 years old.
Wow. What was your first big break?
My first big break.
Was it pre-KC?
Wow. Oh God, yeah. I was in the business for 10 years. I didn't
know that.
I moved 10 times in 10 years
Didn't know that.
before I got to St. Louis. I worked in Fort Wayne, Lansing, Michigan, Grand Rapids, Flint, Omaha, Fort Wayne, places like that. 10 times in 10 years before I ever got to St. Louis.
Were you doing the same kind of thing?
Yes and no, because when you're in the small towns, the stuff I do doesn't exactly go over, shall we say. Yeah. And so I got fired a lot, and it was just part of the deal. I knew that was going to happen, but I knew from I had done so much interviewing of the big Chicago broadcasters and programmers that by the time I got to college, they were trying to teach me stuff I already knew because I had really made it a point to go talk to the big stations, the big guys, and they were all very nice to me, and you learn stuff. So, and then you try to do what is state of the art. Is not unlike, and I don't mean to cause a big stink here, but it's not unlike what happened here 32 years ago. Because when they hired me and they put me on the air, I assumed they wanted me to do what I do. And I did what I do, and it just hit the fan. And it was like, well, then why did you hire me? But especially back in those days, I don't know if you ran into this too, Wheels, early on in your career, but a lot of times you get hired by somebody, you always were trying to get to a bigger market for more money. And you would do that, and you were really, really successful in Fort Wayne. And so they would hire you in Grand Rapids, and now you'd come in, and the first thing they would do is they start trying to change you. Change everything you did. And it was like, well, but see, that's not the way I got here dead. You can't win.
I didn't get any instruction. I mean, honestly, I knew you back then. I mean, Jeff Allen was a great boss. He treated me really well, but he never told me anything. And he's like, you either got something or you don't, and it's too late for me to hone it.
Oh.
So I just kind of did what I did, and you were very kind to me. I've said that to you before off the air, but let me say it here.
And my response to that is I'm nice to everybody until or unless they give me some reason not to be. But I know that, my reputation precedes me and everything like that. And most of it is utter nonsense, right down to the idea, oh, you've been fired. When I was fired? I was fired in the small towns leading up to St. Louis. I've been fired 4 times in 40 years. That's not that bad because most of the time contracts were up, there were format changes, stations wanted to go in different directions, and that's why I left. Fired 4 times in 40 years. I don't think it's that bad. And I rarely ran into somebody who could really teach me very much. But the ones that did, I really appreciated it. For the most part, still in touch with them today to sort of, express that appreciation over a long period of time.
Who would have been your main mentor or example of what you wanted to do?
Oh, there were guys in Chicago. There were 2 guys.
Boy, weren't there.
Larry Lujak and Bob Surratt. They were They were completely opposite people. Larry Lujak was the brash.
Yep.
Really.
Bob's the straight arrow.
Yeah. And Bob was the nice guy, everybody's friend, everything like that. And for a long time, it was difficult for me because I was vacillating all the time. Do I want to be like this guy or do I be like this guy? But I will tell you, there was a seminal moment in Omaha, Nebraska in 1981 on a Saturday afternoon. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I said, oh, my God, it's just beautiful out today. This is 6 weekends in a row here in Omaha where we've had sunshine and blue skies. It's just great. I mean, go out and enjoy the day. And the phone rang. It was a listener, WOW, hi, Johnny Carson's old station. WOW, hi. And the guy swore at me saying, I'm a farmer and we need effing rain. And he hung up on me. And it was at that moment that I realized no matter what you do, what you say, or how you say it, somebody's going to have a problem with it. And so you might as well just do what you want. And I think that was the turning point in my whole career.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Omaha. Who knew?
Wait, man, you got that down like Peyton Manning. Omaha!
So JC's here promoting what's going on for Brian McKenna this weekend. It's Saturday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Macklin in Devonshire.
Got the bagpipes coming out as part of the. It's going to be a big deal right at 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh, I'll be there early if you need any help with anything.
I think probably a good idea anyhow because I don't know what the parking situation is going to be, and that could be the toughest part of this whole thing. But if you can find a parking space, get there early and don't miss this thing at 2 o'clock.
Excellent. Okay, buddy. Thank you. Always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
We get it. Attention spans just aren't what they used to be. Heads in social media and eyes on Netflix. But what do people do with their ears? Well, for one, they're listening to audio. Americans spend 4.4 hours with audio every day. Oh, and you want the proof? Well, you just sat through this ad that's now approaching 30 seconds. What could you say to a potential customer in 30 seconds? Let Odyssey put together a media plan tailor-made for your unique marketing needs. Advertise with Odyssey. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Let me tell you guys about Dr. Corey Soman, my orthopedic surgeon. He is a super nice guy, and that matters because when you are discussing something like getting a knee replacement or a hip replacement for you or your elderly loved one who may be really afraid of going under general anesthetic, or maybe it's for a young person who's like a little 12-year-old soccer player and tore an ACL or an MCL, and you want someone who can connect with them, not a cold fish, not a God complex surgeon, not someone who's just very cold and austere. That's Corey. He's very cool. He's very nice. He's very funny. He also happens to be one of the very best surgeons in the Midwest. I know so many doctors. As you know, I do lives for many, many doctors, and they send patients back and forth. And all the doctors I know, when someone comes in or they say, hey, by the way, my mom, I think she needs a knee replacement, always send them to Dr. Corey Solman. He's out in Chesterfield. When you call, make sure you let him know that you're from the show because he and I are good buddies. 636-231-5881 or Solman, SOLMAN, SolmanOrthopedics.com.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They're in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
News, talk, cards. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, it's Celebrity Day today on the DJ Ask. Coming up at 2:30, we have my buddy Jeff Fitter from Super Smokers, and he's bringing in my pal Reed Lowe from the Blues. You know Reed?
I love Reed, yeah. So when the Blues won the Stanley Cup, and I had to do the Blue Mohawk.
Yeah.
Reed and I were regulars on the same station. I was hosting, and he was obviously in and out all the time. He owned, I don't think he does anymore, but he owned a salon and hair spa, like a spa and hair salon.
Remember that?
And we did the Blue Mohawk at his place, and he was there guiding it. And
Reed's
the best, dude. What a nice guy.
Yeah.
Big
Especially
boy,
for a guy that can just kick the crap out
Yeah,
of
right.
you.
You know, it's true, though. Like, all those hockey tough guys, they're also, like, off the ice, the nicest guys in the world.
He is 37 feet tall. I forgot about
he's
that
a
when
big
I
boy.
went and got him from the front. I was like, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
you
he's a
are.
big boy.
I was hanging out one time with Todd Ewan, and I said, what do you like about fighting? And he stopped and he looked off, kind of a 1,000-yard stare, and he said, getting hit. And it's one of the scariest things a man has ever said to me.
I like the
He's
pain.
like, I like when someone catches me right in the jaw.
I like the pain. I know some of those guys didn't really like fighting, but at that time it was a thing and it was needed, and if you were good at it, then you were going to do it.
Reed has a great story. Maybe I'll have him tell an expanded version of it, but when he was in juniors, he scored 4 goals in front of hockey scouts and had 3 fights. And afterwards, they came to him and said, do you think you can do that every night? And he said, I don't think I can score 4 goals a night. And they said, no, do you think you can fight like that? And that's how he got into the NHL.
Yeah. For a long time, really up until the last 15, 20 years, that was a real job.
Oh, sure it was.
I mean, it was an important job. It wasn't just nonsense. And I know people don't like that era, or some people don't like that era. There was a sense to what they were there for.
It's sort of like going back to the beginning of the show and talking about people being mean to other people.
Right.
And in the olden days, you'd get popped in the nose for it, and people were a little more polite.
Right.
And that's the way the NHL was 20 years ago.
That's why people laid off your star players.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't lay off the star players, guys like Reed and Kelly Chase and Todd Ewan and Bob Pruitt, those guys are going to find you. Yeah, they'll find you, and then you got to stand up to them.
Let me tell you guys about BioBalance Health. Wheels and I have something in common. We both found out our testosterone is low and going about it 2 different ways, but both feeling much, much better. About 6 years ago, I've been representing Dr. Maupin now for close to 20 years. And for the first 10 of them, we would get together and she would say, I can tell you're fine. You don't need any testosterone, and just kind of, flirty like that. And then about 6 years ago, we got together for breakfast. It's Night Horse. And she said, you need to come see me. Never did tell me what it was about my face or my body that gave her a clue, but took the blood test and my free testosterone was too low. And I've been taking the pellets now for 6 years. And they're so good. The best compliment I can give it is they're so good you forget about it until you're at the end of your cycle and you start thinking, well, I'm feeling a little, logy and kind of heavy legs and not feeling the greatest and, libido suffering. And, oh, that's right, I'm due for my pellets. You get them 2 weeks later, you're right back in business. Right next door is BioBalance Skin, which does everything for your skin to de-age it by 10 years. For all things Dr. Maupin, go to biobalancehealth.com.
Start your day with an edge. Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain. I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news. Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
If it's gonna rain, I wanna know.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news. The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hey, it's Trish, ready to do that bathroom remodel? While many companies are raising prices due to tariff uncertainty, Michael's Bass is doing the opposite. They're offering $500 off any shower or tub replacement and $1,000 off a full bathroom remodel, turning market challenges into savings for their customers. Michael's Bass remodel bathrooms all over St. Louis, 5-star reviews on Google, and A+ rating with the BBB. Locally owned, family owned, Michael's Bass, 636-775-0800 or michaelsbass.com.
Let's go to Dave Murray's forecast.
Pretty good looking Wednesday afternoon around town. We'll call it partly sunny. It's nice, 76 degrees. Tiny, tiny chance of a sprinkle. Just don't be surprised. Most of us will not see anything. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, dropping through the 70s this evening. Nice evening. 55 for the low. Another weak system coming by Thursday and Thursday night. Partly to mostly cloudy Thursday. Couple of showers from time to time, 74. Scattered showers Thursday night. Friday, mostly sunny, 75. Saturday and Sunday, sunny, warm it to 84. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
We are Metro Transit. We don't just help ourselves and our neighbors get where we need to be. We help our whole region get where we want to be. Get on board at rideonmetro.org.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-317-1890. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-317-1890. 800-317-1890. 800-317-1890.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
I really need funding to expand my inventory.
Swish Funding can help you expand inventory, upgrade equipment, and boost your cash flow.
Well, okay, but I need funding fast.
Swish Funding provides funding from $25,000 to $2 million with payment terms tailored to your needs and cash in your account in less than 24 hours.
So what's the catch?
No catch. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000, you could qualify. Just go to swishfunding.com to apply. That's swishfunding.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It works worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Seichman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. Like I said, it is Celebrity Day. We had Corcoran on a couple segments ago. Now we have my buddy Jeff Fitter, who is the barbecue king of St. Louis, and Reed Lowe from the Blues. Two good friends of mine. I haven't seen you in forever, man. It's so good to see you. You're looking good.
You too, man. It's so good to see you too. And I've never been in studio. I always talked on, so it's good to finally actually come in and hang out with you and get to stare at that beautiful bald head of yours.
Nice. It's nice, isn't it? I don't like to brag about it, but it's a good dome.
God only made a few perfect heads. The rest he put hair on.
That's right.
Yeah, it's good.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't get hair until I was in about 4th grade. I started losing it in 7th grade, so 6th grade was big for me.
Really big.
I had to make hay.
In 6th grade.
That's
Okay,
right.
That's fair.
Out of Maine. I was just in the office with Wheeler, Reed Lowe, and Fitter, who's a mountain of a man, and I'm like, it's time to go talk to Steve about my contract.
I stand next to Reed. I feel like a little kid next to his dad.
Yeah.
He's like 9 feet tall.
I was telling your story about how you got into the NHL where the scouts were like, can you do that every night? And you're like, score 4 goals a night? No, sir. And he's like, no.
Literally, I was in a Tier 2 training camp in Minot, North Dakota, junior hockey, and I fought the 2 toughest guys on the team from the year before and got 4 goals in the same night. And the coach asked me if I could do that again. I said, score 4 goals in a game. He said, no, kick that guy's butt. I said, I go, does it mean I'm going to make the team? He said, absolutely. I said, coach, you point him out, I'll take him out. Let's go. And he literally, that was where I learned how to be a tough guy that year. He was like, all right, I'm going to put you out against number 2. Just go wax him. And I'll tell you, like, I had all of the most pent-up anger you could possibly have because now my coaches put me out there to do a job, and I didn't have to score a goal. All I had to do was beat somebody up, so I excelled at it quickly.
You were in Minot, North Dakota. By a show of hands, how many people know where Minot, North Dakota is?
It's in North Dakota.
I happen to know because I drove all the way there to buy a smoker once.
Really?
When I first bought Super Smokers. Yeah, it's literally, 30 miles from the Canadian border?
Yeah.
There's nothing there. No wonder you were so doggone mad. They rolled the streets up at 6, I think. So.
You were looking to fight people, too.
Like, I got to get out of here, whatever it takes.
Let's be real. I came from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, so it's not a whole heck of a lot better.
So, were you a fighter off the ice?
Never been in a street fight or bar fight ever in my life.
Wow. That's amazing.
I really don't consider myself a fighter. I was more of a protector, and I actually was picked on and a smaller kid when I was kind of 12, 13, 14, 15, and then I hit stride when I was about 16 years old, and I grew a little bit, and I finally found a way to fit in, and my teammates liked me. There was nobody else wanted to do the job. I was good at it, so I just rode that train as far as I could.
What was your strategy? Like, was it different for every guy?
Well, yeah, at that age, it was just learn how to punch and stay on your feet, and then I tell people the best hockey defense is hockey offense in a fight. If you're punching, he's swinging, one of you is going to get hit. So just hard as fast. My first year, towards the end of the year, I was doing pretty good, beating a lot of guys up, and so they held on to my right hand a lot. So when I went back that summer, I tied a tensor bandage around a heavy bag, and I held on with my right hand, and I just punched as hard and fast as I could.
There you go.
Twice a day. And so the next year I came back and guys would grab my right, and then the next thing you know, I would knock them out with my left. And as I started to progress through the next level of junior and then through the minor pros and then got to the Blues, everybody looked at me as a lefty, but I really wasn't. I was a natural righty, but just used my left hand more often.
You guys, I don't think you heard it because you were in the green room, but Todd the Animal and I went down to Asymmetric Solutions once and spent a day shooting guns and hanging out with real heroes. And we're just, shooting the crap. And I said, so what did you like? What's your favorite part about fighting? And he stops and he thinks and he goes, I really like getting hit in the face. And it's the scariest thing a man has ever said to me.
I did not like getting hit in the face.
Clearly, you were a lover, not a fighter. So getting hit in the face.
I grappled, I held on, tired him out, and then tried to finish him off in the second half of the fight. I did not like getting punched in the face.
So you weren't a fighter to begin with. Once you had this profession and you'd go to a bar, would drunk guys try to take you on?
Yeah, especially in St. Louis when they first got to know who you are. But I used to just be like, hey, listen, guys, don't tell anybody, but I'm not very tough if I don't have skates on. Why don't I buy you some drinks, you and your buddy some drinks, and you guys can protect me and we can be friends? And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I'd walk them up to the bar. It cost me $500, but I got to go to any bar I wanted to. Yeah. By the time I was a second-year player, every bar I went to, everybody loved me. It was great.
Yeah. Who was the most intimidating guy you fought?
The guy that beat me up the most and I had the most trouble with was Big George LaRock from the Edmonton Oilers. Like he was just a mountain of a human, 6'5", 265 pounds, and he had to work hard to keep the weight off. Like if he would have ate and trained as hard as he could have, he literally could have been a defensive lineman in the NFL.
Wow.
Like he was jacked and absolutely shredded, and like he'd grab a hold of me and I'd just be like, I can't do nothing. I literally, my shoulders are locked, and he's got me, and I felt like I had a school dress on. It was terrible.
You ever feel bad giving a guy such a beating?
No. Like I said, I don't like fighting and stuff like that off the ice, especially. But you put a pair of hockey skates on me and give me a reason to beat somebody up, and I really actually kind of had to turn. When I was 16 years old and I first started to do it, I almost had to train this part of my brain that I had to be able to flip a switch, because there had to be a part of a game where I had to be able to focus and play, because in my generation, you couldn't be a liability on the ice, right? Like the days in the 80s and 90s, half the guys couldn't skate. They just go out and fight.
Go fight, yeah.
But in my generation, if you were a liability, you weren't going to be in the league. And so I had to be able to go out there and play. But I also had to be, something goes down or we need a spark, I got to be able to just flip a switch and turn that on. And I had to really practice that. And as you see the pro hockey players, especially the fighters, as we get out of the game, it's hard to learn how to turn that off and on.
Yeah, I bet. If you guys are just tuning in, we're talking to St. Louis Blue Reed Lowe and Jeff Fitter, Barbecue King of St. Louis. So how's your business going? 3 restaurants, 2 food trucks, or the opposite?
Opposite. Two restaurants. Well, actually, I guess kind of 3. We've transitioned to. There's this new phenomenon now in the restaurant industry where they are multiplying brands under one roof. We were early in doing it, but we've transitioned Super Smokers Barbecue plus Cajun in Eureka to Pawpaw's Diner and Super Smokers Barbecue. So we're a diner that serves award-winning barbecue. How can that be bad?
Yeah.
Breakfast all day, and I didn't get fat by accident back in the day. So I mean, that's exactly how we got there. But it's been a fun challenge. But it costs are ridiculous. Staffing is hard, and you have to pivot. You have to do something to be able to keep up and stay relevant. So so we've done that. Case and Bucks out in Barnhart, the bar and grill we own. It does great. We have a lot of fun with it. It's a lot of work. I'm working harder for a lot less money than I ever have. But you know what? I get to see my grandkids as often as I want. So I ain't mad about it.
So we're bragging about Reed. Let me brag a little bit about Jeff. So he and I, when I first started cooking barbecue, he took me under his wing. We did a bunch of competitions together, won a bunch of trophies together. But Memphis in May is like it. It's like the Stanley Cup of barbecue. And Jeff was the chief cook winning Memphis in May.
I didn't get to win all of it, but yes, we did. We get to walk the stage and had a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun. I actually kind of miss the days where you and I would just go out and
go to Hannibal Mo.
I tell that story so many times between ripping off the. Well, they're probably not a sponsor anymore.
I forgot about that.
Between ripping off the bottom carriage of the RV,
they gave us a friggin' $500,000 Bon Jovi bus. And all these guys are sleeping in lawn chairs in the back of their F-150, right? And the first thing, they bring it to my house, and they park it, and my house has a little dip at the end of the driveway. I throw that effer in reverse and take off, and it rips all the electronics off. Just
like the undercarriage, like where you tow the.
We hadn't even left yet. It was
10 feet.
We would pull up, and people would just leave. They're like, well, clearly they're the winners. I couldn't boil a hot dog at that point.
Coming home from that trip, I had to leave early, so he had to drive the RV back. I get a text. I'm playing Pac-Man. Now,
Yeah.
I know he's driving an RV. Playing Pac-Man is probably not the right answer, right? I literally responded, "What do you mean?" He sends me a picture. He's literally driving down the middle of the road. Nobody can pass either side, and he's like, "I'm good." And I'm like, "I bet you are."
It was one of the worst days of my
You're
life.
scared to death?
Yes, it was an enormous RV
Right.
pulling a trailer and a smoker, and it was me and Nick. And Nick's like 10, and he wanted to go to McDonald's. And he's like, "Nope." My dumbass
We're
pulls
not
into
eating.
the parking lot. And I'm like,
No.
terrible. People are honking. I didn't care. I couldn't have cared less. Just
Whatever, guys.
It's very
I don't care.
intimidating. I had an RV and drove it back and forth to Canada during off seasons, and when you first start to get to know how to drive that thing, like you really got to hug that middle line, or else you're rumble stripping and even over top of it, and even dropping off. So it takes a hot minute to kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
But I love those things; they're badass.
So you guys are doing Jeffco Shop with the Cop, Talking Tough with Losey, coming up June 14th at 6 p.m. at the Arnold Elks Club. Tell us all about it.
So I'll let him talk about all the cool stuff. I don't have any cool fights to break down. I mean, I can maybe break down like how to break down a brisket or ribs, but we're taking care of all the food, and you know it's going to be a really cool event. But we wanted to showcase more than just the awesome hockey people, hockey players. So we're going to do a bunch of food. We're going to have a meat sweat charcuterie board that we're going to have on the tables. We make our own ham. We'll have some cheese and stuff on there. We're doing a beef carving station. We got some Kuna Food Service. God love those people. They have donated all the dinosaur beef ribs.
They're good people.
So we're gonna put beef ribs on there, and then we're gonna make some Italian beef. So there'll be a station they can just come up and literally get a tortilla shell and a big old hunk of meat. What doesn't say a man's event than that, right?
Nice.
We're gonna have a wing station. I actually brought you some wings from Case and Bucks. We're gonna have our Case and Bucks sauce, and then our Tennessee that Chef Jamie and I came up with. More Chef Jamie than I, but and then we're gonna do some community. I'm calling it community food. I'm going to have some of my staff come and kind of carry around some jambalaya, street corn, and broccoli salad for basically the sides, so that people can get up, mosey around, talk to people, intermingle with the hockey players, and just have a all around great time. And then, I mean, it's not an event if you don't have dessert, right? So we're bringing our famous bread pudding, and we're going to have that for everybody out there, and it's going to be a good time. I may have a staffing issue in the restaurants, but I have zero staffing issues for this event.
Easy.
I have people lined up to come. I've started questioning them, like asking them. No, I'm serious. Do you know what hockey is?
Yeah.
Like what does the puck ever glow? I've actually had people say no, and I'm like, well, you didn't watch it on TV in the 90s.
You didn't watch Fox,
right?
Yeah, it used to glow.
It used to glow.
Ridiculous.
So we've it's been a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it, and what a great cause. We've been supporting Jeffco Shop with the Cop for, I guess this is going on the third year now since I bought Case and Bucks. We've always supported the Eureka Shop with a Cop out in Eureka with Super Smokers. So it was great to get involved, and I think it's going to go to a whole new level this year.
That's cool. That's very cool.
I'm looking forward to being involved with it. I did a auction. I'm very fortunate to work in the charitable organization space and help these guys try and hopefully raise more money either through auction or just through understanding how to have the run a show and how to maximize dollars inside of the charity event itself. And that's really where my expertise is at. And the fun part was these guys saw me in Arnold. I did something with the Arnold Police Department for their legacy fund for their officers. And they came up and they said, "Do you think you could help us out?" And so we sat down. We tried to do it last summer, but it didn't work out. So we're going to do it this summer. It's really cool for me to be able to sit across from these guys and talk to them about what it means to be able to take these kids, these underprivileged kids at Christmas time, and basically shut a Walmart down and walk in with all these kids. They're all in uniform. They're making friends with these kids. A lot of times these kids are going to potentially be in a situation later on in life where they're not going to like the police. So at an early age, it gets them an understanding of how to have a friendship and know that these guys are their friend and they don't need to be afraid of them. And sitting down and listening to the captain and the chief talk about it, the Festus Police Department talk about this and what it means to them was really something special for me. So they asked if I could build a program around it, and I said, how about some hockey fights? And they said, absolutely. So I've done this a few other times. It's gone off real well. People love it. We've got a big screen in the back, plus we'll have some big screen TVs across the side of the room there at the Elks Club. And we just get up there and I put a couple fights up on there and we talk about what we're doing, break it down, throw some slow-mos in there. I got a video guy that comes out, helps us out, and then we do a little auction and have some fun and just raise some money for a great cause. So it's going to be a great night, and all you got to do is go to my Facebook pages, Reedlow34, or just my Reedlow, my personal page. It's pasted on there at least a few times. I've got all the links and everything you need. Real easy. Click on the One Cause link. Go to buy a table. They're $800 or $1,000 a piece, $125 a ticket, which I thought was pretty decent, especially considering literally the gourmet food that's getting brought to the table. So yeah, we're just excited to get it going. We're about 2.5 weeks away. We've got some tables sold, but there's still plenty of available space. So jump on there and let's rock and roll.
All right, good job, boys. Love you both.
All right, man. Thank you.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I really need funding to expand my inventory.
Swish Funding can help you expand inventory, upgrade equipment, and boost your cash flow.
Well, okay, but I need funding fast.
Swish Funding provides funding from $25,000 to $2 million with payment terms tailored to your needs and cash in your account in less than 24 hours.
So what's the catch?
No catch. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000, you could qualify. Just go to swishfunding.com to apply. That's swishfunding.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores. And look, I've been a customer of theirs since 2013, and there's a reason for that. Supplement Superstores is the best. They are always on the cutting edge of science, so when they find better products, that's what they work with. And they also have the best people. All of the employees at Supplement Superstores are certified sports nutrition specialists and personal trainers. So they'll work with you to build a simple eating plan and workout routine that fit your goals. And by the way, they do that for free. So to find your Supplement Superstores location and get started down your path to success, go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. You've heard me talk about them. They provide the internet in my home. I love them so much. The reliability is great. Let's talk about price for a moment, though. They've got an introductory rate at $19.99 a month for one of their service options. No bundle ever required. You're going to save $10 a month over the cable company. They've got great pricing on all of their different packages, going up to 8 gigs upload and download speed, always mirrored. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 1041 FM KMOX. I almost said the voice of St. Louis. I read it off the sign every time.
Yeah.
There's a sign right behind Rage, and I know what station I'm on, but I still kind of do that. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Good hour.
Yeah, I always had a lot of fun with Reed. We did a lot of stuff together at our old station.
Yeah.
Just like on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
He's
dude.
the best.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yep.
You not want to fight him.
No.
Like not. I don't mean like in real life, because he said he's a nice guy. That most of those guys were like that, but their job was that. You can't even imagine. And what's he, 6'5"?
Easy.
So on skates, he's 6'9".
Yeah.
And the reach and trying to even get in there. That's why the only guys that would fight him were the other guys like George LaRocque, who's also a huge guy.
Yeah. Who is considered the best of all time?
That's a great question.
Probert?
He's the guy probably from that era of the like the modern TV era of fighters. I don't know if you go back too much before that. Like if you go before TV, honestly, I don't know that people know it as well. But yeah, I mean, maybe Tiger Williams back in the day, he was real tough. But that was before that era with Probert and those guys.
Back in the heyday of like the Plaguers, were there fighters or did everyone fight?
Probably a little more of that, but both. Yeah, I mean, they were always enforcers. And if I remember right, like the guy I mentioned, like Tiger Williams, he I think led for a long time the history of the league in penalty minutes. But that was more like 70s and 80s, if I remember right.
I just love, like, I've spent so much time with Reed and those guys, and I'm like, how does it happen? And he's like, 9 times out of 10, it's just you look at the guy and you go, or before the game, do you want to go? You want to go tonight? And then they go out and have steak afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it was part of the deal, right? And some of it was entertainment purposes. Some of it, that's when they started to get rid of it, by the way, when it became more staged, when it became more like, okay, we're just going to do this just to make the crowd excited and all that. But honestly, I'm not sure they should have. I understand why. And if you've seen, there have been some great documentaries about this. What was the one called? Is it Ice Warriors? Where it's about all of the damage. A lot of these guys committed suicide because they had head problems, CTE and things. So it's not that it was a good thing because of that, but a lot of these guys were also getting CTE because they were being checked in the boards and falling on the ice and doing all that too.
Yeah.
But there was a job being done there. That wasn't just random for entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, most of it. I mean, later on it became that.
Yeah. Tell you guys about First Missouri Credit Union. I have accounts there. I go there about once every week or 2 weeks. It's a little out of my way being down on Lemay Ferry, but it is worth it because at a bank, I'm going to get 4.05 on a certificate of deposit, which is a very common way to invest your money, short to medium term, 9 months to 24 months. 4.05 is the going rate in St. Louis, but at First Missouri Credit Union, we're going to pay you 4.27 on your checking account, up to $100,000. So you can have $100,000 in there one day and take it all out the next day and put 20 back in or whatever it is, and we're going to pay you 4.27% on it all the time. Really, really great. When you need to borrow money, or maybe your kids or your grandkids, just put $25 in a checking account for them. They're a member. Maybe match their investments, their savings. Lots of cool stuff that people do at First Missouri. Go to the #1 stmocu.org.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Game Day Men's Health. You can find them at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Was just in today, popped in for my weekly visit, and I don't mention this enough, but like once you get this going on the routine and all of that, your regular routine visit when you pop in there is like 3-4 minutes. You walk in right at your scheduled time or right around it, and they're ready to go. Boom, in and out, nice and easy. My visits tend to be a little longer because I talk to people, and that's what I do. But you guys, if you're looking at something that can be a quick, easy part of your routine, and you're looking to just feel better, check it out at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Don't just deal with whether it's fatigue, muscle soreness, not sleeping well, decreased libido, whatever it is amongst those things. You know what I mean when I say you just don't feel right. You don't feel the way that you used to. They can help get you back to that. For me, the solution was testosterone replacement therapy. Went in, did the consultation, did the blood test. My numbers were low, so now they're not. Now they're where they should be, and you can tell. You can tell for sure every single day. Everything's overseen by board-certified physicians. The staff are all trained experts in men's health. You're going to get the best of the best care. One price explained up front. Cannot be easier. So 3 area locations: Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com, and you can get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health.
For 57 years, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been one of St. Louis's top names in home improvement because of their commitment to put quality and professionalism first in everything they do. This is Debbie Monterey, and I can tell you from personal experience that they will give you the best and longest lasting outdoor products available with skilled installation teams who carry out their mission to be the very best in customer service and quality craftsmanship. Whether you're looking for fences, decks, sunrooms, screen room, patio, retaining wall, or more, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is a company that you can trust with your home. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll also offer you 48 months interest-free financing, which should go a long way. Go ahead and do your homework and call around and get bids, but you will find that you get the best value with Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Visit them in the Chesterfield Valley or online now at chesterfieldfence.com. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Bluetail Medical Group is a pioneer in regenerative orthopedics. As joints break down over time, we lose our mobility and a life without pain. Surgery is not the only option. Dr. Matt Bays, David Crane, and Chris Wolf can use your own body's healing power to regrow soft tissue. No surgery, no long recovery times, and no drug dependence. Patients walk out of the office and resume full activity in a few days. Reclaim your joint health by calling Bluetail Medical Group at 636-778-2900 or visit bluetailmedicalgroup.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Not available in all states. Rates vary. Building a financial safety net for your family can be tough. But with term life insurance through Ethos, you can have peace of mind that they can pay the mortgage and other bills if something happens to you. With coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online, Ethos finds your best rate across their multiple trusted carriers. Some policies as low as $1 a day billed monthly. And even in uncertain times, your term life insurance rates and payout don't change. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 3 o'clock, we have clouds and 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Aquina in for Michael Calhoun. The news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. Palestinian ambassador to the United Nations, Riyad Mansour, delivering an emotional address to the UN Security Council today, breaking down in tears as he described the unbearable suffering of Palestinian children amid the ongoing war in Gaza. He says Palestinian children are starving to death, and they do not deserve that.
We love our children. We love our people. We don't want to see them going through this tragedy and this savage attacks by those who claim the virtues of fighting against barbarism.
Meanwhile, U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, is just back from negotiations abroad, saying that he's optimistic about a deal to end the violence in Gaza.
I have some very good feelings about getting to a long-term resolution, temporary ceasefire, and a long-term resolution, a peaceful resolution of that conflict.
Wentzville police say an armed man believed to be suffering in a mental crisis had officers blocking off access to several businesses near Crossroads Drive and Wentzville Parkway as a precaution. The situation began during the noon hour and then ended just after 2 this afternoon. After repeated attempts to get the man to come out of his vehicle, officers approached him and found him deceased inside. The St. Louis County Public Health Department says they are accepting volunteer applications for animal care and control. Back in February, when the APA gave back control to St. Louis County, there were hundreds of volunteers. But the county required everyone to reapply for those volunteer jobs and ended up having around 80 people. That's according to the health department. The public health director, Dr. Kanika Cunningham, at the time said she was launching a pilot program. Now Cunningham says the feedback has been positive from the volunteers, and that's why they are accepting new applications. This Thursday, that's tomorrow, the St. Louis County Council will hold a committee of the whole meeting on the ACC, citing all the problems past and present, including the parvovirus update. where they euthanized 19 dogs. The meeting tomorrow is open to the public. It starts at 3:30. Slumberland Furniture is now opening a 53,000 square foot flagship store in Sunset Hills this week, with plans for up to 3 additional stores across the metro area. And CEO Kenny Larson is the driving expansion with a focus on community connection, sleep wellness, and long-term regional investment. At 3:02, it is time for an update from the St. Louis Business Index. Here is Stifel Senior Vice President for Investments, Scott Bedell. Good afternoon, Scott.
Hello, Maria. Good afternoon, everyone. After yesterday's strong stock market gains, today was largely a day of profit-taking, with most of the damage occurring in the last hour. At the close of trade, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 244 points, or 0.6%, to 42,098. The Standard & Poor's 500 index lower by 0.5% at 5,888, while the NASDAQ Composite Index slid 0.5% to close at 19,100. Locally, the Bloomberg St. Louis Stock Index suffered the most today, falling 1.2% at 1,535. Just a few local winners today. Bunge was up 0.2% at $79.38. Boeing gained 0.25% at $201.50. On the downside, Stifel Financial slipped a little bit more than 1% at $94.54. Spire fell 2.2% at $73.74. Energizer lost a little less than 2%. They closed at $22.83. This has been Scott Bedell from Stifel Financial, member SIPC and New York Stock Exchange. For more information on our firm, please visit our website at stifel.com.
A check of traffic at this hour. Eastbound 255 driver is just past Lee May Ferry. Watch out for a stall. It is on the right shoulder. Eastbound 270 before 367. It looks like that right shoulder has been cleared of a stall that was there as well. And Dave Murray has our weather forecast. It is sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Weather times on hand as we go through our Wednesday afternoon as our days get longer and longer. Partly sunny, maybe a sprinkle, but very hard to find. Nice temperatures for this time of year, 76. Tonight, partly cloudy, 70s for evening plans, 55 for the low. Thursday, partly to mostly cloudy, a couple of scattered showers around 74. That goes into Thursday night. Friday, mostly sunny, 75, and a pop into the mid-80s and sunshine Saturday and Sunday. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
72 right now in St. Peter, 73 in Florissant, and downtown of the Arch, we have 73 degrees. I'm Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Visit Missouri.
When you golf in Missouri, the courses are so close, you'll spend more time on the fairway than the freeway. After the back nine, enjoy our world-class dining and distilleries, shops and spas, museums, and more. Find your new golf MO at visitmo.com.
The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. I just talked into a dead mic because Rach is eating jambalaya.
It's so good, though.
Finishing
it's
my jambalaya.
So good.
What a great hour.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
That was awesome.
Now, if anyone else out there is having fun, we're having a blast.
Yeah, let's go. We need more. Yeah, that's fun when you get all the fame, all the celebrities. And not just that, though, but like celebrity friends.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's one thing when you don't know people, but when you know people,
yeah,
the best.
Swings are spicy.
Yeah, like
I did eat like 7 of them, which maybe is part of the problem.
Like Wheels was saying, though, it's the perfect amount of spice.
Yeah, for the jambalaya, I mean, like, it is right where it should be. It's not over the top where it's just trying to burn your mouth, and it's not too light. It's right where it should be.
Jeff makes a mean jambalaya.
Also, a little kick.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
yeah. Little runny noses in here for a little bit. You know what's great about this show? If my mouth is too hot, I can say, "Hey, Wheels, you got a stairway to Kevin?"
I do.
Awesome.
I always have a stairway to Kevin. I always got too many of them. All right, so I have two I'll give you guys a little bit of a choice here. We got one or two that can be sports angles or one that's not. And let's do this one. Forget it. I'll pick because it relates to our.
You did it to us again.
I know. I didn't mean to. That was an unintentional.
All three of us going. I don't know.
That was an unintentional pregnant pause because I forgot this one particular one because it builds off the story we talked about yesterday with Naomi Osaka.
Okay.
And how after losing in the first round, which is something she's not used to, she was very upset, didn't handle it well. Tears and all of that. Well, we saw something just like that last night in the Marlins-Padres game. In the middle of the game. So there's a rookie infielder for the Marlins named Ronnie Simon or Simone. And he made 4 errors in the game. One of them was was retroactively changed to a hit. But he made 3 errors in an inning while they blew a 6-run lead. And he was balling on the field, which is something you don't see in a Major League Baseball game. Right. You don't see that. And then after the inning, team runs off the field. He just ran straight to the clubhouse. He had a couple coaches follow him, teammate or two followed him, did not come back out for the game. He came out of the game right then and there. And then he got a lot of encouragement from players on both teams, from the Padres and the Marlins, saying, look, man, we've all been there. Everybody has those days. Everybody has the days where you just do everything wrong. And what's interesting is, first, you never see that, right? You see guys get angry. You see guys throw crap or they go to the dugout and they break stuff. You don't really see someone full on in tears on the field in the middle of a game in the major leagues. But we saw that last night. And what was interesting was the online reactions could not have been more opposite. So there was one brigade that was like, it just shows he cares. Good for him, rooting for that guy. It's okay for that to be the case. And then there was the other group that was like, dude, it's a baseball game. Why are you crying? Like, everybody makes errors. You know this. Don't be a baby, essentially. And I find it it's different because it's a team sport, and in a sense that other people are relying on you. In an individual sport, it's just you, and whatever you do only affects you. It only impacts you. But he's feeling like he's carrying the weight of losing a game, which in the grand scheme of things, not really a big deal, right? You play 162 of them. Your team's not any good anyway. It's not like you're, end of September, pennants on the line or a playoff game or whatever. But I find it interesting. And I don't know, do you guys see that as being any different? Because some of the perception is certainly he's a grown man.
Yeah.
He's a 25-year-old man and, openly bawling on the field because of errors. Not because they lost, not because a family member died, not because you lost your dog. Like, this is not about cry or don't cry. This is not about emotion, but that's why there's an interesting gap between the two parties here, where one of them is like, this is perfectly normal and fine human behavior, which it is. But it's also something you never see in that setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rach.
I do look at the two situations differently, and maybe I'm being unfair, but I look at this baseball player and I go, it just feels like a genuine reaction of like, this guy feels really, really bad. If I can speculate on Naomi, this is not the first time she's done something like this. To me, as a fan of hers and as someone who wants to see her succeed, having this happen over and over again, that's when I kind of lose my understanding of the situation and go like, it's time to start getting it together, or maybe focus less on the outfits and focus more on tennis, and you won't feel so rotten whenever you lose. I can't think that a grown man, like you said, is going to bawl in front of this many people as a way to I don't think he's doing it to get sympathy. Like,
no,
it seems like a
yeah.
completely involuntary reaction. And my heart goes out to him. I hope he never has to go through it again. I hope he's able to get his emotions under control next time he's in a similar situation. But I just look at the situations differently, because with Naomi Osaka, and again, I'm a huge fan of hers, but I'm just kind of tired of the excuses and tired of the kind of hiding behind the fact that she feels bad. It's like you said, Wheels, she's only letting herself down. So then to go out there and cry about it, it's like, you gotta at some point get it together and move forward. Otherwise, you're just crying at the press conference every week, and it's getting old. It's getting old.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah, and to me, it's a fascinating thing because there's two parts to this. One part is just, okay, he's a human being. He's allowed to feel what he feels. Like, that's okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There is the other part where if you are in a management position or an evaluation position, you probably do, though, have to consider whether or not he's going to be able to handle the pressure of the major leagues. Doesn't mean you make the decision on one thing. It's just a thing that gets filed into your evaluation of somebody, because there are all kinds of players who are really good that can't handle the pressure of the major leagues at different levels in different places. Some guys, it's just that they never performed the way they did in the minor leagues, and maybe they just weren't as good as they, weren't good enough. Others have a problem with 40,000 people in the seats, or knowing that a million people are watching on TV. So there's the sport part of it, which is if he learns from this and he's like, okay, I'm past it, other guys are telling me I'm going to be okay, and he's fine, that can actually be a sign that he's going to grow as a player.
Yeah.
And that there's something good there. But there's two parts, and in sports, that's the hard thing, is there's the team side, and there's the sports side and the human side. The human side, to me, is not wrong ever. You are who you are. You feel what you feel. That's not wrong, right? Whether it's what anybody else would do or not, that part can't be wrong, because it's just about how it hits you. There's also the part where, though, people have to evaluate you from a competitive standpoint, where your psychology and how you handle pressure is a part of how you can do this job in a team setting.
Yeah.
So it's to me, it can be two things.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be one or the other. It's not he's soft, he can't play. He may be just fine. He might go on to a great career. He may not. We don't know.
Who is the guy, college football player, who jumped into the stands and cried on his mom's shoulder?
That was Caleb Williams. And a lot of people asked the questions about that. Again, I did too. But using this dynamic, there's two parts. There's nothing wrong with a human being who they are. But there are things about being in a competitive environment where other grown people have to follow you, and what you're trying to calculate is, how do those other grown people, the teammates, how do they see the person? Because that has to be a part of how you construct a team. How do your teammates react to your presence, especially in the quarterback position, where you're in a leadership position, as opposed to just a middle infielder is not really in a leadership position, right? I mean, every baseball position is a little different.
Yeah.
But the leadership one there would be the catcher. That would be the one who's always doing all the things. But Caleb Williams has turned out to be fine. He had a really good rookie year last year, even though some things weren't working in his favor as far as how his roster was built. Had a terrible offensive line, had a terrible coach or coaching situation where they had changed offensive coordinators, but not the head coach. Now he's going to be in a spot where they have a really bright, new, young head coach who is an offensive genius. They've rebuilt the offensive line. He's got some weapons. It'll be interesting to see. But his first year was actually really encouraging with how he handled things. So this is why you can't judge on one thing.
Yeah.
But there are also, like, always these considerations when you're trying to pick somebody for a team sport is, how do these players all mix, and how does this person's personality fit in that dynamic?
You know what memory this brought back to me? I know I tend to say not glowing things about my dad, but I'm just being honest. And I love my dad very much, but he was a hard man. And with me, he was always very, rub some dirt on it. What are you, girl? Why are you crying? I'll give you something to cry about. Mm-hmm. And we had a catcher on our team, a real big guy who was not good at all, named Jeff. And he used to cry every time he would strike out. And my dad would go in the dugout and sit next to him and talk him off the ledge. And it always really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because he was not talking me off the ledge. And I've just kind of written it off, too. Well, you were his son. He was trying to make you tough, trying to make a man out of you. And he had a soft spot in his heart for this big, dumb catcher or whatever. But that always really, I'm 60 years old, and I'm still thinking about it and talking about it.
Yeah, I would say, I'm sure, just trying to put myself in his, my dad was a little bit, he wasn't your dad in that way all the way, but he had some of that old school because his dad was like that, right? So his dad was probably exactly like your dad.
Yeah.
And so he had a little bit of that too. But if I'm trying to think of it from your dad's view, your dad is looking at you as, I know this kid. I know how I raised him. That's how he's going to raise his expectations. He may be looking at that other kid thinking, well, the parents aren't doing a very good job, so yelling at him's not going to help. Or whatever. You have no, to me, that's.
Yeah, I still look at it through my 10-year-old eyes.
Of course you do. How couldn't you?
Yeah.
You would have no choice.
Yeah.
It's how you saw it, and it was your experience.
But my best story about my dad and athletics, I don't know if I've told you this one before, Wheels, but my very first 100-meter race in high school, because I was a ball player and got hurt, but I was fast. And I had no idea how fast I was, whether I would be in last place or first place. And I asked my dad to come to my first meet, and he couldn't because he was a working man. And he was a union construction worker, and he didn't get off till 4:30, and he wasn't going to make it. And so I was at Civic Memorial High School in Bethalto, and the gun goes off, and I realize about halfway down I'm winning because I can't see anyone else. So I'm either losing really bad or I'm winning. And I look down my lane, and literally at the end of my lane is my dad in his overalls. And for the one and only time I know of in his entire career, he took off early. And I ran right into his arms.
How cool is that?
How cool is that?
How old were you again?
High school.
High school, okay.
Senior in high school.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Really cool.
Yeah, really cool. And I think that probably tells you a lot.
Yeah.
About what was always underneath.
Yeah.
But it was probably, again, but it's that generation.
And
that whole generation of people were not really, they didn't think they were supposed to be that way as parents. They thought they were supposed to be hard.
Well, get this. After my dad passed away, my mom gave me this scrapbook that he kept on me, like radio stuff and WashU stuff and athletic stuff. It was secret. He didn't want me to know for whatever reason, his own embarrassment, or thought it would make me soft or something. But
Probably thought that was what was best.
Yeah.
Although it could just simply be not comfortable with emotions.
Yes.
That, again, very much a generational thing.
We have a nice compliment from Dave Hines, our radio guy. Says, that's how you do 2 promo segments in the same hour that are actually entertaining. Seriously, you all are my favorite. That's just good radio.
It was.
It's very sweet. Dave's very nice.
Good causes make it easier, too. But, like, when you put good causes with good people.
Yeah.
And obviously people that are fun.
Yes. Tell you guys about Zero Res. We're going to have a new deal coming up in just a couple of days. And if you like this deal in May, you can call during May and schedule it for June, and you're totally, totally cool. They're very busy these days. I know, like, I'm a couple weeks out. They're coming in to do my little patch of carpet as well. So it's $129 for 3 rooms of carpeting. Most people don't have more than that. Now, if you do, we're going to make you a great deal on those 4th rooms or 5th rooms. If you have 1 room of carpeting, we're not going to charge you the whole amount. You know, we're going to give you a fair deal. If you're a corporate listener, you know, you're a doctor or a dentist or an orthodontist or something, and you have 10 exam rooms with carpeting, we're also going to make you a great deal. Call 314-474-2020, or you can book online. Just let them know you heard about them on the DGS at ZeroResSTL.com.
I'm Emma Greed, and I've spent the last 20 years building, running, and investing in some incredible businesses. The more success I've had, the more people started coming to me with questions. How do you start a business? How do you raise money? How do I bounce back from failure? On my new podcast, Aspire with Emma Greed, I'll be answering these questions and more through weekly conversations with the smartest minds out there. Listen to and follow Aspire with Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast, available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Looking for the perfect townhome in St. Peters? Don't miss the display grand opening of the Townsend Linneman, Saturday, June 7th from 12 to 5 p.m. Tour our brand new decorated display, enjoy appetizers, and enter our prize giveaway. Visit us and discover luxury 2 to 3 bedroom townhomes with 2-car attached garages and unparalleled community amenities, including a pool house, dog park, and more. Plus, enjoy pre-construction pricing up to $25,000 off. Visit us just south of 364 west of Jung Station Road. For more details, visit lombardohomes.com.
Cardinals fans, there are more ways this season to watch your Cardinals on FanDuel Sports Network. For the first time, you can subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals without blackouts. Monthly, seasonal, and annual packages available. Also new this season, you can stream FanDuel Sports Network through Amazon Prime Video with an add-on subscription. As always, you can watch FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit Cardinals.com/TV to learn more.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Let's tune out the noise a little bit and focus on a retirement plan. If you don't have one or don't know how to get started, find us on our website at SachsFinancial.com or RetireSafeSTL.com.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9 on the voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Welcome back, guys. DGS on KMOX. Kev, you know any updates on the game tonight? I know it's raining in Baltimore.
Nothing new except that it sounds like the tarp is off.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good sign.
It looks like they're going to give it a go. I mean, they haven't announced anything as far as a postponement or cancellation. And if they're starting some pregame and they're putting out the lineups, the two teams have put out their lineups. So it sounds like they feel like they have a window to do it.
I love behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And like you were talking about this a couple of hours ago and making the point I never thought of, that this is a major event. And if they're not going to have a game, they need to call it pretty early because people are going to show up to sell hot dogs.
Yeah, workers are going to show up. They got to pay all. So people think that teams do this stuff where like, oh, they'll just do it and sell beer and then send everybody home. Like, okay, but what they're paying all the employees to be there is going to be more than they make up in beer cost because these people get to use. It's going to be a
small crowd.
Because those people get to use those tickets again.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not going to be, like, you know, it's not what people think it is in that regard, but it is a lot more complicated. Like, if you're going to call it, you better call it early so you don't actually spend the money and then have to spend it again when you make up the game.
Yeah. David says Andrew needs his corn, folks. Simple as that.
I know that's right.
He's absolutely right. I can't remember what would have sparked that
I
comment.
have no idea why he said it.
That seems kind of out of the blue.
I mean,
But,
Dave Stamper, you're not wrong. I'm
You
just
ain't-
wondering.
You're never wrong talking about Andrew and corn.
You ain't lying, big dog. You ain't lying.
You know what I just did?
What?
I got all misty talking about my dad.
Yeah.
And I went in the bathroom and I wiped my eyes with my buffalo wing
Oh,
hands.
no.
Yeah, I did that too. I got some of the spicy barbecue. in there.
Oh, no. That's part of the reason why I try not, like sometimes if they're the saucy wings, I try not to eat them at work because I'm afraid I'm going to do something like that.
You know what would make you feel better?
What's that?
More jambalaya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a bowl. Can't put that in your eyes unless you're really trying hard.
I can't say or hear jambalaya without thinking about Plankton on SpongeBob when he had chumbalaya. And he goes, oh, chumbalaya.
At my brother's wedding, the food was Indian food served family style.
Yeah.
And I was very, very careful because I was wearing a light blue linen suit, like
Yes.
jacket. And I'm like, I have to be very careful not to get any on this this suit that I just bought, and I have to stand up and give a speech and all this. And I somehow only got some on my shoulder. I still don't know how it could have happened, but I looked over and there was like a spot of masala on my shoulder, and I'm like, come on! I need my corn.
Right? What's going on with Kevin Costner? I've seen the headlines.
So he's being sued by a stunt double who worked on his Horizon 2 movie. This came out in 2024. They were apparently filming a sexual assault scene that was completely unscripted. So I get from what she's alleging, Kevin Costner was just like, oh, you know what we should do today is we should just film another rape scene and we'll basically improvise it. So the actress who was actually cast in the movie was like, I'm not doing that. So the stunt double had to do it. And she's extremely upset. Yeah. There was no intimacy coordinator on set. They didn't plan anything. It just kind of happened. Kevin Costner is saying, well, if you have such a problem with it, why did you send me a text message thanking me for the experience on the film? I personally think that you can't point to that and say, I'm absolved. A lot of times people are just trying to keep their job, keep their employers happy. I don't think that's the smoking gun of consent that he thinks it is.
Speaking of that, Rust is on my Prime now, Amazon.
Oh.
It looks exactly like the kind of movie I would like, but I feel bad.
I'm shocked they released that film.
Yeah, same.
I mean, someone died, and then there was tons of litigation about. I just don't understand why they said, you know what, we should still release this movie. It's odd to me.
There's an old joke about Uncle Sam's new tax short form. The first line says, how much did you make? The next line says, send it in. Really, not that funny, but that's what a lot of people do in retirement. They take money out of their 401k or IRA and end up sending it in when they pay taxes. Steve All of the All Financial Group invites you to take their tax challenge. What if your current plan included thousands of dollars in unnecessary taxes and fees? Or maybe higher Medicare premiums or a lower Social Security check? What if the savings you realized could allow you to retire early? Wouldn't you want to know about that right now? Take the All Financial Group Tax Challenge and find out. There's no charge. Call Steve today at 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, if you're hitting the highways and going westbound on 270, we had an overturned vehicle crash reported near New Halls Ferry. I can't quite see it, but I do see the backup. It goes back through Old Halls Ferry, so west of 367. You're on the brakes on westbound 270 right now. Westbound Highway 7, you've got delays from Riverview out through Jennings Station. After that, it's just kind of slow from TR Hughes to K, and then from A to Z in the Wentzville area. Speaking of Wentzville, if you're headed home westbound 64, you're busy from Kings Highway out to McCausland, and it's slow from 364 out to 70, but northbound 61's backed up from Wentzville Parkway most of the way up to Highway P. It looks like there may be an incident there as well. Southbound 270 bogs down Page down to 64, both sides of Manchester, just a little slow at the 44 or at the Gravois exit after that. Southbound 170 Delmar to Brentwood's busy. Southbound 55 south of Arsenal to Bates and Z McNutt area kind of heavy. Eastbound 44 and 64 backed up across the Poplar. Those left lanes are closed at the Illinois end of the bridge. 44 and 64 both jammed right around Jefferson. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Markscores. The Chris and Amy Show.
I would just like to say you guys are awesome. I've just been turned on to this since it's been on 104.1 at the FM dial, and I think you guys make me laugh, and you're informative. I just love you guys' show. You guys are amazing.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Start your summer with a weekend showdown. Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers roll into Busch Stadium June 6th through the 8th. Be there Friday for a cool new promo, the first ever Cardinals neck fan, perfect for hot game days. Then on Sunday, young fans 15 and under take home a Rawlings Kids Glove. It's a weekend of big matchups and big giveaways. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Mason Wynn, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Catch a Cardinals game on your next date night or friends night out. Whether it's love in the stands or laughter with your crew, nothing beats ballpark vibes under the lights. Cold drinks, great eats, and Cardinals baseball. Check out Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium and enjoy happy hour price food and drinks all game long. Every Friday home game. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com and make memories that go beyond the scoreboard. Busch Stadium, where great nights begin.
Hi, I'm Travis McGowan of the Travis Group, a health insurance brokerage. At the Travis Group, we specialize in helping individuals, families, and small businesses make sense of their health insurance options. Whether you're turning 65, your kids are aging off of your plan, or you're looking for better accident and hospital coverage, the Travis Group is here to offer honest-to-goodness health insurance guidance. As a St. Louis native, husband, and father of 5, I know how important it is to protect what matters. Visit us for more information at travis4insurance.com.
Tonight, the Cards, the Orioles. Ameren Total Access 440. Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed and we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelly.com.
Dave Murray's weather is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical.
There's a deep cut for all the Rush fans out there. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. Dave Murray joins us. Hello, Dave.
Hello there.
Had your buddy JC on earlier.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He had told me he was going to be on.
He asked me how bad it sucked that in St. Louis when someone says Dave, they just think of you.
Well, that's not true. We're on equal par now.
I'm not sure how to take that.
Now that I'm gone.
Yeah. Now that I'm semi-retired, and you're working your ass off every day, we're about the same. How are you?
What can I say? What can I say?
How
I'm
are
doing
things?
fine.
Grandchild still there?
Nope. We'll put him on a plane about 2 hours ago.
Like, get out of here,
By
kid.
himself.
Took off running.
Now the job is to put the house back together again after the whirlwind hit.
That is
but they're
so
coming
awesome.
back. They're coming back for like 15 days in July.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Might as well just leave everything the way it is.
Yeah, that's
I agree.
exactly what I would expect from you, Andrew.
My only bucket list thing left is to have grandkids. But I'm not pressuring, I mean, Nick has had the same girlfriend for a few years, but that generation is not like our generation. I feel like we did it because that's what you did. I didn't feel like I really had much of a choice, but the new generation, like Rachel's age and younger, it's definitely not like a foregone conclusion. So Phoebe's probably a little more traditional, so I have a chance at that. So
yeah, I think our son was about 35 when they had the grandson.
Yeah.
Our grandson.
Which I, again, would never pressure. And if I had it to do over again, while I would never wish away my kids or the center of my universe, you get that, Dave. But being mentally ill, as I am, very open about that, being a dad was probably not the obvious choice. I've limped my way through it. I've been a very loving dad. Can't take that away. But it's tough, right? It is not for wussies.
Yeah. Oh, no, not at all. And you know what? I worked so many hours in my career for a long time. I missed a lot of our son growing up. So I wasn't there at night, you know, in the evenings, the late afternoons, evenings. Though I would, you know, blow out after the 6 o'clock show to be a basketball coach when he was in elementary school. You know, and you tried to do whatever you could, but you know, we had breakfast every day, we had dinner almost every day. You know, because I would fly home, but the morning breakfast was maybe the biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because it was just one-on-one.
Same with Nick. When his mom and I broke up, but he was only like 2.5, and literally every single day of his life, I would pick him up for breakfast. And I remember that was the first time I thought I got recognized. There was a coffee clutch of old men at McDonald's where we would go in Webster Groves. And I walked in, and they started mumbling, and some excitement in the air. And one of the guys goes, "Are you who I think you are?" And I said, "I am." And he turns around to his club there, and he goes, "Boys, say hello to Smash from Casey."
Yes, I am.
Oh, man.
I kept it going. I'm like, "Great to meet you all."
That's what you do. You just keep it going.
Give me a McMuffin.
How about this run?
Because the worst you could do is say, "No, I'm Dave Glover." Well, who's that?
So one of my family's favorite stories was Ruiz Mexican restaurant out in Wentzville area. My very first year on the air, named an entree after me, which to me was the greatest thing that had ever happened in my life. And it was the Dave Glover chicken fajitas. So I take everyone in my family, there's like 12 of us there, and they get to me and I go, "I'm going to have the Dave Glover chicken fajitas." And the waitress just drops her thing to her lap and she goes, "Oh my God, thank you. None of us have any idea who that guy is, and no one has ordered it before you." And my family loses it, and they're like,
of course,
clinking glasses and ordering more margaritas. And
oh man,
when did you feel famous, Dave?
Oh man, you know, almost right away. You know, the recognition came very quickly.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Did you ever go out to Schnucks when someone didn't stop you?
No, not at all. But again, what I did for a living, what I still do for a living, is people feel very free to talk about it.
Yeah,
weather is the easiest thing in the world to talk about.
Very true.
Good point.
And I'm a decent guy. I think I am, and I'll spend time. I'll talk, but there are times when I think I've told this story. Like I would go to Schnarr's to the hardware store, and because I was working on a project, and I need this. Run down the street, and I'm in cut off jeans and a ratty old T-shirt, and you get what you get when you get Dave. You get what you get.
Do you think that the future for television meteorologists, weather people, is limited, or do you think that we'll have them in 20 years?
Wow, that's a tough question. I think news in general, I think local news in general could be limited in 20 years. I think I've honestly believed for a number of years now that there might be one station in each town doing local news.
Interesting.
And that's all they do. They do 24, like a CNN kind of thing of local news, because it's so expensive to do. The talent, all the people behind the scenes, in front of the camera. I just think it's going, it will go to some extent the way radio has gone.
Yeah.
It will get tougher and tougher and tougher to do.
Yeah, I was at KMOV hanging out with the guys about a month ago, and they took me on a tour. It's crazy how many people there are behind the scenes and how much machinery. And I thought we had a lot in radio, but it doesn't hold a candle.
No, when you think of what it just takes to do a studio, just to get a studio up and running and keeping it running is phenomenal. Yeah, I think that could, I think even on a national basis that it will become more and more limited. I think the networks are having a harder and harder time of doing a nightly news.
Yeah. So speaking of limited, the quintessential Dave Glover 60-degree weather's short timer, right?
Yeah. Tomorrow is still one of those days, though. We'll be in the 60s most of the day, 70 for the high, but it's an unsettled day again. We've had this cut-off low-pressure system in the upper Midwest. The last wave in the northwest flow is coming down tomorrow and tomorrow night, Expect showers tomorrow, rumble of thunder, but I'm not anticipating anything even close to strong to severe. It'd be just kind of a rumble of thunder. Showers continue on Thursday night. Friday's beautiful day, sunny and nice. Still a great day temperature-wise for May, 75. Start to warm up over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, sunshine. Each day, 84, 85 degrees. That's still not too bad as we close out May and get into June 1st.
Yeah, not bad. And reminding everyone that Brian McKenna's Celebration of Life is Saturday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Macklin in Devonshire. Just a big street party. They're blocking off the streets. I'll be there by 2, if not earlier. So come out and honor Brian.
Yes, absolutely.
Did JC, was he telling us on or off the air about Brian leaving that letter?
I believe off the air.
So he left a letter, Dave, for his best friend, and said, because he was battling cancer, and said, if things go sideways, here's what I want. Isn't that great?
Oh,
So that's what they're doing. They're literally taking his letter and bringing it to real life.
Yeah, that, I think everybody should, a lot of people have wills, stuff like that, but I think that it would be really nice for your immediate family, especially, to say, hey, here's what, in a sense, plan your funeral. Plan what you want.
I know
however you want.
I know it's popular to say, like, I want a party and I want people to be happy. I want people to be inconsolable. I want paramedics to be called.
If there's no crying, you get kicked out.
Right. If I'm there, I'm haunting your ass. If you're just like...
Write that down. Write that down. Nick can make that happen.
I want the saddest thing ever.
Nick still insists he's giving me a Viking funeral. Like, put me on a reed raft and cover me in kerosene and shoot an arrow. And I'm like, that's going bad. Dad's just going to smolder for 5 minutes. And
they're going to miss.
They're going to miss.
Shoot again. Another one. I need another
no,
arrow.
there's a waterfalls.
Want to do a couple headlines, right?
Sure, we can do a couple. Headlines is brought to you by Schnucks. Reward yourself daily with the Schnucks Rewards app. So the Board of Aldermen here in St. Louis is hoping to pass 2 tornado relief-related bills by the end of the week. This is much faster than they normally pass a bill, and I want to thank Ryan Kroll at St. Louis Magazine for writing this story. I thought this was very interesting. They have 2 bills. One would help people affected by the tornado to access the city's Impacted Tenants Fund. That's a pot of money designed to help renters whose residences are condemned due to building code violations. The other bill would adjust the assessed values of homes hit by the tornado. That would prevent homeowners from having to pay taxes on a piece of property when they're not able to live in it.
That's nice.
Apparently, the fastest possible way a bill typically moves through the board is about 5 weeks. So they've got their hair on fire, but they're all working together to get this done. I just think this is very, very nice to see, some unity at the Board of Aldermen, because we really, really need it right now.
It's becoming very controversial. Someone, I think, in the board brought up, hey, maybe we don't use the Rams money, but we've earned $30 million in interest so far.
Mm-hmm.
And 70% of those affected in North City do not have any sort of home insurance. Right. So they're just ass out. And some people are saying, let's use the $30 million to try to make as many of them as whole as we can. And then other people are saying, hey, if my house were destroyed and I let my insurance lapse, no one would be there to help me. So why are we doing it for anyone else? Any thoughts? How's it hit your head and your heart?
I mean, do you know no one would be there to help you? Do you know that for a fact?
Yeah, good point.
I think it's really easy to be like, well, you can't help them because then you got to help everybody. Well, God forbid we help everybody. Like, I don't know. It's a pretty huge tragedy. I'm on the side of helping people out right now. Yeah. I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to look into things like that. And I feel like
they're just going to spend it on something stupid. This isn't stupid, right? If you know that you can help people right now in a real meaningful way, as opposed to some dog and pony show that they're going to put on in a couple of years, I'm down with that.
Yeah. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
We've got the money. We've got the people that need help. What are we waiting for?
Well, and the interest is kind of the right idea, right?
Right.
So you're not touching the stockpile, if you will, and that'll keep earning interest over time. And the interest can be used for things like this.
Mm-hmm. You want to do one more quick
Sure.
story? I thought you might hate this little toddler, Dave.
I'm ready.
He's been named the youngest ever Mensa member. This is a little boy from the UK. He learned how to roll over in just 5 weeks, according to his mother. So 5 weeks old.
I still can't do.
Oh, so put him in Mensa because he learned how to roll over.
Yeah,
You're just jealous because you can't.
I used to be able to.
He started speaking his first word at the age of 7 months old.
Mm-hmm.
He read his first book out loud from cover to cover just about a year after that. So yeah, he like knows Greek. Apparently he's got a very large IQ. He's admitted it 2 years and 182 days old.
So dumb.
His first words were "stupid nerd."
And I don't.
Isn't he some kind of chess expert too at a young age?
And
Isn't he some kind of loser?
Not hating
Dork?
I'm not hating on the kid. I'm hating on Mensa. That's stupid.
I'm hating on
For
the
a
kid.
bunch of geniuses, you're awfully stupid. Why are we recognizing a kid that's not even 3?
Because he's a genius.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he sounds like a super kid. This is not the kid, but like the smartest people in the world, allegedly, don't realize it's probably not a great idea to try to measure the IQ of a 2-year-old.
You know, the only people I'm salty with are his parents if they're pushing it.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll have stage parents who do things like that.
Somebody had to tell Mensa about it. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe it was the kid.
I mean,
maybe the kid called him
kid
up.
figured it
It's
out,
like,
right?
I know how to Google.
So
Kid said him an email. Dear Mensa.
Dave on the chat thing says the kid's 7 now. Same point stands. Can we at least wait till you're a teenager before we try to figure out if you're a genius? Like, what's the point of 7? He's a genius. I mean, like, he's brilliant. Okay, he's a great kid, but like, what do we need to do to? Why do we need to?
Make up your mind.
You thought I'd be the one who was.
No,
hating
but
on him.
look, I got a parallel here because there are people out there that do this. Like, my 9-year-old's the best 9U baseball player in St. Louis. Who cares? It doesn't matter until you're older.
Not me.
It literally doesn't matter until you're older. It's not. There's nothing to it. You're just a smart kid, which is great. I would love my kids to be like that all the time. My kid's pretty smart too. I'm not out there going, I want to get her certified with Mensa when she's 9.
Kevin just hit it. I wish my daughter was as smart as the 7-year-old Mensa kid.
My kid's a straight A student, 4.0, got a scholarship for 6 years of college, never paid a dime for college.
Should have put her in Mensa.
And this is my point though. Like, I don't care about anything until you get to a point where it matters.
Well, that opens up me talking about my child's grade. Never mind. She's really cute. Thank you, Dave.
Baby J.
Tell you guys, Baby J. She will be Baby J.
And the secret will be spoiled for everyone.
On day 1.
Yes.
You're about to see a 5'10", 180-pound Baby J if she doesn't get it. Tell you guys about Cantor Injury Law and my friend Mark Cantor. I wrote down the word guidance, as you can see if you're watching me on television here, that it really, truly is about guidance. And you know me, I'm a big one for that. Even if I'm just buying a car, something simple, I want someone with superior knowledge to me who has a duty to me to give me the best deal, to walk me through everything. I can tell you this from my 10 years of practicing law on the defense bar and the plaintiff's bar, that it's complicated and it's frustrating, and the people on the other side can be real a-holes, and it can be emotionally draining. You don't need 1,000 lawyers. You don't need the biggest law firm in the world. You need a law firm that is the perfect size to handle your case, to give you guidance, to give you legal support, obviously, emotional support, financial support, in that Mr. Cantor is going to forward all the costs. And if it's a big case, it can be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's out of his pocket, not yours. And if you don't prevail, you owe him nothing. He only gets paid if you prevail, and then he's going to get a percentage of that. So if you are injured within the sound of my voice and you want someone who I trust, who I think you can trust, it's Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. 314-628-9999 or cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This traffic report's the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies. They're still working that crash westbound 270 right near Old Halls Ferry. It's actually right over Old Halls Ferry. Right lanes are closed, so traffic is bogged down. Back pretty close to 367 on westbound 270 right now. Westbound Highway 70, Riverview out through Jennings Station. There's some slow stuff both ways around our city, around TR Hughes and A to Z out in Wentzville is kind of slow. Westbound 64 Boyle out to Clayton Skinker is off the pace. 364 to 70, pretty crowded. South 270 backed up from Page down to about Ladue, but it's slow all the way down to Doherty Ferry, and then again 44 midway down to Gravois. Southbound 170 Delmar to Brentwood slow. Eastbound 44 and 64 both jamming around Jefferson, getting across the Papa Street Bridge. They have roadwork, emergency repair work on the Illinois side that has a couple of the lanes closed. The right-hand lanes are the ones that are open. The left-hand lanes are closed at the Illinois end of the bridge. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Looking for the perfect townhome in St. Peters? Don't miss the display grand opening of the Townsend Linneman, Saturday, June 7th from 12 to 5 p.m. Tour our brand new decorated display, enjoy appetizers, and enter our prize giveaway. Visit us and discover luxury 2 to 3 bedroom townhomes with 2-car attached garages and unparalleled community amenities, including a pool, pool house, dog park, and more. Plus, enjoy pre-construction pricing up to $25,000 off. Visit us just south of 364 west of Jung Station Road. For more details, visit lombardohomes.com.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. With 56 million winning tickets last year, anyone can win big. So set your destination to winning, like gas stations, grocery stores, or anywhere you can buy a ticket. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for
Another
a quote that could
RX
save you
Watch,
hundreds.
brought to you
You're in
by
good hands with
Underlaw.
Allstate.
Welcome back to RX Watch. This alert is disturbing.
Right. A while back, we learned that companies like Johnson & Johnson use a mineral called talc in baby powder and other products.
And studies show that talc, when used for feminine hygiene, can cause ovarian cancer.
Now listen to this. RX Watch has learned that the talc they use is being mined in China.
Right, and talc mined in China contains heavy metal contaminants like chromium and magnesium, which are known to cause cancer. But China doesn't care.
So China gets the jobs and we get contaminated talc in our baby powder.
And ovarian cancer.
Right. With their specialized tests, the medical team at Underlaw can help you know if your ovarian cancer was caused by talc.
Underlaw has helped women for years with free and confidential consultation. You need to call Underlaw's pharma attorneys at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
Call Underlaw at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
That's 1-800-RX-WATCH or go to rxwatch.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa,
Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Where are you going, Terry? Terry!
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Michael's Baths. I feel like I need to send flowers to like Bath Fitter and 3-Day Kitchen and Bath because they do a lot of the heavy lifting here with Mike. But when I first met him, he goes, "You know these companies?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's what I do." But they are big national companies with national advertising budgets to pay for. And he is local and he is family owned and operated. He has about 8 crews that work for him. So if you use Mike, you are going to be keeping about 24 families in the money here locally. He's done nothing but bathroom remodeling for the past 30 years. He doesn't do kitchens. He doesn't do general contracting or roofs. He's just a bathroom guy. So he does a really great job, and it's usually 30 to 50% less than the aforementioned companies. If you're a disabled veteran, you can take advantage of a VA benefit, which you have earned through your service, that gives you that new bathroom for free. Mike does them every week. 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-403-5566. 800-403-5566. 800-403-5566.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, they cleared the crash on westbound 270 at Old Halls Ferry, so things are pretty much back to normal for you there. Northbound 170 is slow from 70 up to Airport Road right now. Southbound 170, heavy stretches from Olive down to 64. Never a jam, but it's just kind of busy through there. Westbound 70, the bulk of the volume is west of Lake St. Louis out through 61. Northbound 79 from Salt River all the way up to North Main Street. That's solid bumper-to-bumper traffic. Southbound 270, you're on the brakes from Page down to Ladure, flow through Manchester. A little busy past 44 after that. Westbound 64, Boyle out to McCausland's, bogged down. A couple of spots where it's a little busy in the valley, but back up 364 through the Boulevard, heavy out to 70 after that. Southbound 55, Arsenal down through Bates, slow all the way through. And again, emergency repair work in the left lanes eastbound at the Illinois end of the Poplar has 64 and 44 jam back near Jefferson. From the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 4 o'clock, we have clouds and 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Akina in for Michael Calhoun. The news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. Our top story this hour, scenes of desperation in Gaza as Palestinians rushed to pick up aid after an Israeli blockade restricted food and medical supplies. Dozens of people were injured. The aid is being distributed by a new backed Israel and U.S. group. Correspondent Tom Bateman covers the State Department for the BBC and has more on the situation.
The first thing to say about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is it's pretty opaque. It's not easy to ask it for information, frankly. The new executive director, after the initial one, resigned just before the thing was getting up and running in protest earlier this week.
Now, in the meantime, President Trump spoke with reporters this afternoon and expressed confidence that the U.S. is on the verge of striking deals to end the war in the Middle East and also in Ukraine.
Speaking about ongoing U.S. talks with Iran, the president acknowledged he warned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during a phone call last week not to attack Iran.
Well, I'd like to be honest. Yes, I did.
Trump said any deal with Iran to end its nuclear program would be very strong.
Well, we can go in with inspectors, we can take whatever we want, we can blow up whatever we want, but nobody getting killed.
If a deal can be reached, Iran's nuclear chief says they might allow U.S. inspectors at their nuclear facilities.
But at the same time, Iran's foreign minister insisted that any deal must include Iran's ability to enrich uranium. The American Red Cross has opened up a shelter in Ferguson at Ferguson Nazarene Church. That's at 1309 Elizabeth. People staying at the 12th and Park Recreation Center location were taken by bus to the new shelter. 12th and Park Recreation now returning its facility to its normal operations and programming. The other shelters are Refreshed Community Church on North Hanley, Friendly Temple Outreach Center at 6356 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, Peter and Paul Community Services at 2612 Wyoming in South City. Now, no identification or proof of residency is required. Red Cross services are free and available to everyone. The Red Cross is now also providing financial assistance to qualifying individuals whose homes were impacted by the May 16th tornadoes. To qualify,